Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Project Infinite podcast, the podcast which, for a year now, has been giving you the news from the infinite and ever-expanding multiverse of fandom, from movies, comics, TV shows, video games. We got you covered, begrudgingly, because this is like the biggest news week that we're going to get all year.
But what a fitting way to give us a 1-year anniversary than San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, one of the central hubs for fandom. So
yeah, which returned to
just
in-person.
Like poetry, it rhymes.
Yeah, so Comic-Con returned to in-person. Everyone was there. And
except for Henry Cavill.
Yeah, that's true. We'll talk about that and so much more. I'm Rob. I'm here as always with Court, who you heard already. And man, I said earlier, like, we write down our notes for this, and this is the first time I ever had to use the dashes and then the bullet points under the dashes.
Yeah. This is an incredible amount of news, updates, trailers. Just they blew the roof off that place. What we thought was going to happen, we got, in my opinion, and then some.
And then some. Yeah.
So I mean, all of that kind of is on the shoulders of Marvel, just like the multiversal saga will be put on Jonathan Major's shoulders, which we'll talk about.
Yep. But first, we do have some non-Comic-Con related news, starting with, unfortunately, another passing in the world of monster movies. So I don't know what's going on here. But Paul Sorvino passed away over just yesterday, actually, unfortunately. I'm recording this on Tuesday, July 26th. So, yeah, he passed away yesterday at his home in Jacksonville at the age of 83. Obviously, most known for Goodfellas. Mm-hmm. And on the other side of the law, as Sergeant Phil Cerreta in Law & Order. Mm-hmm. So, just another one of these long-standing, notable actors that unfortunately passed away this year. This happens every year. Mm-hmm. It's unfortunately what goes along with the passage of time is people that you remember from all these different movies and world of music and everything. You start to lose those people and you reflect on their careers, and it's just really sad. But 83 years, long life, strong life, right. Goodfellas, obviously one of the most memorable movies of all time. So,
and I mean, he's got one of the more memorable scenes of that movie too. I mean, a couple of them, but I mean, all this just brings about the idea of legacy, which I mean is something we're going to talk about today as well, with people that have sadly passed away. But again, Paul Sorvino, I mean, legend status in Hollywood too. So, thank you for everything that you've given us, and may you rest in peace.
Yes. Never easy transition from that, but we did get an Oppenheimer poster. So, and why does it go so hard?
He's just draped in fire. It's amazing.
I don't think that's how it actually happened.
Sure it did.
Surely he would have been vaporized.
No, it's Oppenheimer. He created the nuclear bomb. He's going to be able to control it.
Yeah, so we got an intense poster for Oppenheimer, right. A teaser trailer that played in front of Nope.
Right, wow. So the movie's in black and white, right?
Is it?
It might be.
I'm not sure.
Who knows?
It could be.
However, that teaser trailer coupled with that poster, it's just talk about setting a stage with just an ominous nature. Because I don't think a lot of people know about Oppenheimer. I think they know more obviously about the nuclear bomb, but not too much about the making of it. So it's going to be a good history lesson, but obviously Christopher Nolan injects his history lessons with just this grandiose scale of story and just kind of the ability to kind of, entrance an audience in kind of like a world. So I can't wait to take a trip back to the 1940s, 30s and 40s and kind of see this titan of a cast put together.
Insane cast that we've chronicled over the past,
oh my gosh,
I don't know how many months when we were doing like one a week. They were revealing people like it was an all-star game.
They got Jack Quaid for this.
Yes, everyone's favorite. Who I just recently re-remembered was in the first Hunger Games movie.
Yeah, and now the world forgave him because he's Huey now. Because he killed Rue. You don't do that. You don't kill Rue.
Yeah, that was
messed up, man.
Yeah, that was not okay.
Did you see at Comic-Con she sent the video to him forgiving him?
Yeah.
Good stuff. But Oppenheimer, I mean, in the top 3 most anticipated movies for myself for 2023.
2 of them are coming out on the same day.
Yeah, it's 1A and 1B for me.
Did you see someone did the mock-up Barbie poster?
Yeah. For Oppenheimer?
With the same poster?
Yeah. It still goes crazy. Whatever you put, I can't wait till sports teams and all these things start using that poster with their best players.
That poster is unbelievable.
Oh my gosh. Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
My man.
So what else we got? Mortal Kombat is getting a sequel. It's news that we just missed out on last week when we were recording.
Yeah.
But Mortal Kombat is officially getting a sequel.
Yeah.
It's the same director, different writers this time around. So the writers that are working on it have worked on Umbrella Academy, have worked on Moon Knight. So
yeah. I think that's gonna. I mean, the Umbrella Academy one really perked my ears.
Yeah. So I mean, I think this movie could actually be decent because I feel like this one they're actually gonna do the Mortal Kombat tournament.
Yeah. I mean, it's they're gonna finally, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do the thing that the thing's named after. But I mean, writing I feel like is an underrated art that people don't recognize and how much it can influence something. So, like you said, having the Umbrella Academy writers, and we will talk about the Umbrella Academy season 3
at some point.
Yeah, because I think it's great. I think it was a great season, and then having Moon Knight. People aren't liking Moon Knight. Is that a thing?
Who
knows?
This Marvel thing. People like it, and then they don't like it.
We're going to talk about it today. We'll talk about it.
But, no, I think, the first one came out in the height of the pandemic. It was really one of the first test cases for HBO Max. Of
gave us your favorite character?
Kano?
It gave us one of your top 3 favorite characters from 2021, right?
It gave us our hashtag acting award.
It's not a birthmark, Cole. Means you were chosen.
So what about... Is that guy surely can't be in, again, like a main character, right?
Kano?
No, Cole.
Oh, my bad. Why not?
I don't know. He's kind of just... He's the worst part of that movie.
Well, he's the audience surrogate.
I know, but the audience is there now.
He's the Sam,
get rid of him.
He's the Sam Witwicky to what Transformers was. This is what he is.
I like Louis Tan, but that character is not great.
But he's got the cool arms though.
I guess he's got. Maybe they could kill him. They could kill him in this one.
Who's going to be the main character? Kano. Bring Kano back and let him be the main character.
They did. Like Scorpion was like a good guy.
Make the lizard the main character.
Scorpion was like a good guy in that movie when he came back from hell.
Yeah. What a solid standoff to end that movie.
I loved the end of that movie.
Yeah.
That was the only part of that movie that was like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. The beginning started out like Ghost of Tsushima. It was great.
It really did. I remember what I forgot when we were talking about Mortal Kombat last time. The opening of that movie is just Shang-Chi again.
I think it is just Shang-Chi. Yeah.
with the gang of evil people rolling up on the family, and the father's out doing stuff.
Now he seeks vengeance.
Yeah. So we do have some video gaming news. So the first one dropped today, and that is the Knights of the Old Republic remake that is scheduled to come out has been pushed back indefinitely, which is not good.
Very concerning.
Indefinitely is not the word you want to hear.
So, remakes, let's just use Final Fantasy as the surrogate for remakes, because that's probably... in my opinion,
and The Last of Us.
Right, are like the remakes that they know about, and it's like, you understand how it works on next-gen mechanics and like how to kind of upgrade your game. Gets me slightly concerned, because what's the thing that's kind of holding this back is the question you got to ask.
Apparently what I have read was that they showed that they had footage ready to go. The footage was scrapped, and then the directors were let go.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that could be creative differences as well. And you know what I think the creative differences could be? I'm just spitballing, but I feel like they could be, how much of the original game are you adapting? Because I know Final Fantasy differentiates a little bit from
does it?
Yeah. From the original quite a bit.
Yeah, especially at the end of it.
Right, so I wouldn't be surprised, because, we all know the cinematics of the Knights of the Old Republic. It's like, you can just watch that by itself as, like, its own, like, short films, and they're just incredible. So I wonder if they change certain things to fit, like, the Disney mold of Star Wars that's going on right now, to fit the other characters that aren't Jedi, because that was just a Jedi-focused thing, so I wonder if they were trying to get more, bounty hunters, Mandalorians in there. Yeah,
that's my question, too. Like, for me, there's, like, tiers of remakes. Right. So you get, on one end, you get the Resident Evil remakes that have come out the past couple years, which are basically just redone, same mechanics, but upgraded for next gen, same cutscenes, but upgraded for next gen. You get, like, The Last of Us remake that's coming out later this year, which is totally redone from the ground up, different combat, but the same cutscenes, same voices, and all that stuff. And then, like, the last tier is the Final Fantasy VII remake mold, which, spoilers for that game, is potentially technically a sequel to the original
Which is
game.
really awesome to think about.
Yeah, so that's almost in a class of its own because we've not seen, as far as remakes and remasters, we've not seen something like that because the Final Fantasy remake project is 3 games. It's a trilogy now. The next one's coming out next year, and nobody knows what's going to happen with that. Whereas like all these other remakes, it's following the same beat. So I wonder if that Knights of the Old Republic thing was aiming to be more in that remake stratosphere where like we're doing something quite different from what people remember, and maybe that's just not what either LucasArts wanted, because letting go of the directors lets me know, like you said, that it's a creative thing, and maybe they just weren't happy with the direction of the game and they're scrapping it, and that indefinitely tag is concerning.
Yeah, it is.
Because it'd be one thing to say, it's pushed back a year.
Right.
We saw God of War get delayed.
Even if you say 2 years, 3, like, okay, at least we have a top, because what's the other Star Wars game that's coming out?
Well, I was going to mention that Jedi. Well, you're talking about that other one.
Yeah, right.
We haven't seen anything from that game.
Well, but they told us it was going to be delayed because essentially that world is being marketed as an open world RPG Star Wars game where you can kind of travel and make your own character. But I don't know. Like I said, the indefinitely tag is concerning. Firing the directors is concerning. Yeah. But do yourself a favor. If you've not seen the cinematics from the Knights of the Old Republic, just go on YouTube and Google it. It's like a half an hour long. It's some of the best Star Wars you will ever get.
That story is regarded pretty highly. I mean, the tale of Darth Revan is revered in Star Wars, just fandom in general.
Right.
So.
It's not canon, but it's amazing Star Wars storytelling, and kind of like this thing we always say about Star Wars, like the lengths it can reach without the Skywalkers.
Yeah. And then I guess just piggybacking off that, what I thought of was that the Fallen Order sequel, Jedi Survivor, is apparently coming out next year.
Right, in March.
Which is nuts.
Yeah.
We've talked about before how 2023 is shaping up to be just an unbelievable year in gaming.
Right.
So
definitely a memorable year, but I definitely think that was more of a, push forward, because I think they were working on the game. Like, I don't think they stopped working. I think they want this to be as like one linear story as possible. No, like obviously there's probably going to be a little bit of a time jump, but I do think they want this to be like a straightforward, like direct, like maybe the moments after sequel, if they want that to be the case. So I think they've been working on it for a while, and they're like, let's give them what they want, because that game, to me, it's one of the best games I've played. I love, and it's the story of that game, because obviously the mechanics aren't perfect, but they were still good. And I think it's
might be my favorite Star Wars kind of combat system that I've played.
Oh yeah.
It finally nailed feeling like a Jedi, because I mean, you can say Force Unleashed did that, but Force Unleashed got very cartoony, and almost like God of War-ish.
Right. Yeah, you were just, and I mean, the story of that is so much more. You're playing on what's canon and what's not. Like, this can kind of be canon.
Force Unleashed is almost like fan fiction. Like, Starkiller is just absurdly powerful.
Right, but nobody ever says anything about it. They just allow it.
Yeah.
He just pulled down a Star Destroyer like it was nothing.
Yeah. He does some insane things where it's like Cal feels more like a real Jedi.
Right.
And I mean, we talked about it when we talked about the Darth Vader reveal at the end of that game. Like, you gain all these powers throughout the game and you feel like you're powerful, and then you fight Darth Vader and you can't fight him.
Right.
So
you break the game if you try to fight him.
Yeah, so definitely looking forward to that. And then the last bit of gaming news that also came out yesterday is that EA is developing a Black Panther game. Which I was like, cool.
Yeah, me too.
And then I read the synopsis, and I was like,
EA did the EA thing.
EA, man. And then I read it, and I was like, less cool. So apparently the synopsis for this game is that you will be in control of a custom player character, not a character from the established canon of the Black Panther franchise or series. You're going to be a custom character, and you're going to be inheriting the mantle of Black Panther in the wake of T'Challa's death. Why?
Don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
Why? Why are we doing this? Why do we take these superhero properties and we gotta do something to mess them up?
Yeah.
Like, Avengers did this, not quite with the story, but with the mechanics behind the game. And then you have Spider-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy, which were great.
It's just infinitely better.
Just take the comic and build a game around it.
Yeah, because you don't have the constraints, and Guardians of the Galaxy is the absolute perfect example of this. You do not have the constraints of what movies, like movie logic, because movies have physical, real people in them. So it's kind of our brains are just going to kind of go to logic for most situations. That's why it's definitely more difficult. But games, you don't have to use that same logic, and comics are the same thing. You don't have to use the same logic. So Guardians is such this big, grandiose story with just cameos, callbacks, and they're doing just genuine comic stuff, like just absolutely insane things. And like, why is EA deciding that, Black Panther, well, let's just get into it. It is because of, in my opinion, because Chadwick Boseman's death. That's why I think they're doing it this way.
Yeah, but he's not the character in the game.
Yeah, he's not. And it's a mistake. Like, why?
Avengers did Black Panther, they did T'Challa.
Right, like, why not give us a Black Panther game? Something that I know people were, like, wanting since 2017, since the movie came out.
And I know the developers behind this EA's publishing it, but the developers, more specifically, are the team that did the Lord of the Rings, Shadow of War, and Shadow of Mordor games.
Right.
Great mechanically games, like, amazing games. I love that system. I love the Nemesis system. And that's a really cool world to play in. Imagining like a Black Panther game behind it, but like this idea that you're going to be this custom random character and inherit the mantle, like why?
Yeah.
Just make it a T'Challa story.
Yeah.
I don't understand. And, I see people say like, because you don't want to start out as like T'Challa, like peak of his powers. Every other game does this.
Right.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, you're 24 in Spider-Man. Like, you're prime of prime Spider-Man.
And that doesn't deter the story at
all.
all.
Honestly, it makes it a little bit more interesting.
The Batman games do this too. Right. Arkham Asylum is peak Batman.
Yeah, you're like in your maybe 40s. Like, you're...
I hope, because this game just got announced, tells me that they're not that far into development and they just course correct it and just make it a game about T'Challa. Yeah.
If you want to pass the mantle to somebody else, if you want to do his son, because I think they're going to be able to, you can use the Fox characters if you want, because they don't really play by those rules. Like, have Storm in the game, who cares? Like, have the Fantastic Four show up in the game, just like Guardians did. Like, have these other characters show up and kind of do it, like, just have a T'Challa story.
Yeah. Here's hoping.
Yeah.
And then the last bit of non-Comic-Con news that I have is a fun bit of news, and that's that the Russells are going to be together in an Apple Plus TV show that is set in the Godzilla v Kong Monsterverse. And I just think that's fun.
No, I think that's great. Finally, they get to work together, A, and B. I mean, the 2014 Godzilla, I think that's a movie that people should relook as this, I don't know how to explain it. It's almost this non-found footage. It's this non-found footage, found footage movie where it's...
Because you never see them.
Yeah, it's the spectacle of, an absolutely just force. They play Godzilla as a force of nature, and it makes that story so amazing. And then the actors and stuff. I mean, you have Aaron Taylor Johnson, you have Elizabeth Olsen, you have Ken Watanabe, you have Bryan Cranston. Like, the cast is just...
They bait and switched us with Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, they did. They killed Bryan Cranston. Spoilers for Godzilla.
It's not even a spoiler. He dies in like the first 30 minutes.
But that movie's just, it's so raw, it's dark. Like, it is physically and emotionally dark, but it just shows you kind of the power of what these creatures can be. And I mean, it gives you like a little bit of the mix of the Kurosawa stuff, because you feel the true weight and power of Godzilla, and you just, it's such a great, I think it's one of the better movies of that year. I really think that's one of the better fandom movies. But and
the subsequent films have kind of gone into like typical.
They're commercialized more. Yeah.
Godzillaverse Kong was cool.
I had a good time.
I liked it.
I don't care.
I
had a good time.
It was a pandemic. I didn't care.
We got Mortal Kombat and Godzilla vs Kong in the Snyder cut.
We could talk about that.
Yeah, I think we're probably gonna have to talk about it.
All right. So I guess it's Comic-Con time.
It's time.
So yeah. Like I mentioned up top, San Diego Comic-Con returning to full in-person shows for the first time since 2019, and the big hullabaloo about it was that Marvel was...
Teen Wolf's back.
Well, yeah.
Oh, that's not the big thing. That
wasn't the big thing.
Oh,
but
my bad.
Yeah, Marvel was returning to the Comic-Con stage. They booked Hall H on Saturday.
DC said, "Could we have Hall H?" And Kevin Feige knocked on the door.
Well, they got Hall H, but they got Afternoon Hall H.
Yeah, Afternoon Hall H is like, I don't know.
Marvel got Primetime Hall H.
Yeah, they did. That's like watching a soap opera in the afternoon.
And if you listened to our Boys episode last week, all the Marvel stuff was happening at the end of us recording that episode.
What a great time that was.
Yeah, we were
just shock and amazement for about 10 minutes.
Scrolling, just rapidly refreshing Twitter for every like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So the first bit I have is, this is like the miscellaneous grab bag bit of non-Marvel / DC stuff. So the first thing is we got a panel and a bigger look at the Lord of the Rings of Power show, and now I'm in overdrive.
Yeah.
with my hype for this show.
You're the Lord of the Rings guy, so clear out.
Yeah, so it's been like a running joke for like the last few weeks when these trailers have been coming out, that it's like, yeah, it looks like Lord of the Rings, but this time we got more of a look at it, and I'm like, okay, I'm in. I'm in. We see the birth of a Balrog. We see more of Lady Galadriel, who is more of a warrior in this, because obviously it's set way before the Fellowship of the Ring, and set way before the Hobbit. Also, we see a look at what's potentially Sauron as like in like a human form, which is interesting. And,
I saw that, yeah.
And Howard Shore is back to do the score. Great.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, if you have not listened to the Lord of the Rings score in quite some time, listen to it. Because Howard Shore was in his bag for 3 straight films.
And Alan Silvestri doing those Avengers movies.
So I'm very excited for that. So I'm all in now. I wasn't hesitant. I was excited because I know that Amazon obviously put a ton of money behind this show, and it's one of those properties that like you don't touch unless you're going to do it justice. So on that front, I think I wasn't nervous. I was just tempering my expectations. I was like, I don't know what this is going to be. The Hobbit movies were a mixed bag, so we'll see what happens. But now I'm ready. I'm in. I'm all the way in.
You didn't like Benedict Cumberbatch as the dragon?
No, that's actually my favorite one.
Yeah,
the second one, the Desolation of Smaug. I like that one a lot. It's just the first one's kind of a chore, and then the third one is just kind of all over the place. But Desolation of Smaug is really, really great. Do you have any thoughts as a non-Lord of the Rings person?
Looks great.
Thanks.
I can't wait.
Thanks for that.
Because I'm clearing out for something else that just you wouldn't expect to be in this. But
and then,
I fought to put it in here.
Keeping with the fantasy lane, we got another panel for Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, and that's another thing coming off this panel that I'm more excited about.
Because Matt Smith
won. Doesn't know what it's Morbin time means.
Thank God. Leave him alone, nerds.
Leave him alone. He's trying to promote Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, he's back. And then the other thing that actually got me excited for this was George R.R. Martin was there.
Yeah.
And he talked about how he's seen 9 out of the 10 episodes and how he's really happy with how they came out.
Yeah.
And obviously this is kind of going back to the first few seasons of Game of Thrones. So House of the Dragon is completely based off the book of Fire and Blood. And that's awesome because that's kind of what happened, where Game of Thrones kind of went off the rails a little bit, is when they got past the written material, because George R. R. Martin kind of gave them like a plot synopsis of what was in his head, because obviously he hasn't finished that story, and the writers were like, all right, we'll do this thing.
Right.
And George R. R. Martin has since come out and said that my version, whenever I finish it, is going to look quite different from how the show ended.
Right.
And so this being fully based off the book and coming straight out of the source material, which is where the best of Game of Thrones came from, leaves me feeling pretty excited about it.
No, I agree. It's when you talk about I talked about it with the writers earlier. Like the art form of writing is so critical and so important, and you got to get it from the horse's mouth as well. You need this to come from the source, and just based off the trailer, I mean, I'm going to pull the Lord of the Rings joke again. It looks like Game of Thrones.
It does look like Game of Thrones.
The point I wanted to make is this does have a bit of an uphill battle. It has a point to prove just because of the end of Game of Thrones. It kind of left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. So I think this does... It does have a little bit of weight on its shoulders, but I think it's something that can deliver. And then I think it's this, and then funny enough, coupled with the Jon Snow show, I think could kind of bring Game of Thrones back to the forefront and make them kind of the prominent figure for HBO Max.
That's coming out in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
This House of the Dragon.
Right.
We don't have long to wait.
Yeah.
Before the Game of Thrones universe is back.
Owning Sunday nights.
Yeah, and the Iron Throne looks great. We got a more kind of book accurate Iron Throne in this, where it's like the bigger chair and then like the row of swords like around the chair. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, having George R. R. Martin there to kind of, obviously he's not gonna say it's crap,
right? But
for him to say that, it's difficult for me to take my material and give it away. I think he likened it to giving away a child, right? Like almost for adoption. But he said, so he's always nervous about leasing his material to TV shows, but he said he's really happy with how this has turned out. Yeah. He said, like I said, he's seen 9 out of the 10. So going back to the 10 episode format that Game of Thrones was used to. So I'm excited for both these things. Both these things, I mean, Comic-Con is, if nothing but a giant hype show for things that are coming.
And of course, that's the point.
So both for Rings of Power and House of the Dragon, I'm more excited than I was going into Comic-Con. Mm-hmm. And then rounding out the fantasy bit, we got a Dungeons and Dragons trailer.
Yes, we did.
Fun. It looks fun.
It looks so much fun, and it's the Mortal Kombat thing. I just don't care. It looks so much fun. And Chris Pine is a bona fide star, and I'm happy he's the one that's kind of spearheading this and leading this, and it's just great fantasy action adventure, and I think it's just gonna for Netflix, right? Netflix production, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you may be right about that. No, just released theatrically. Coming out next year. March 3rd. Of next year by it's a Paramount flick.
Oh, Paramount, right. So it's gonna be a Ant-Man QuantumMania versus Dungeons and Dragons.
So we got Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez. We got how do you say this guy's name?
You talking about Gene?
Yeah.
Yep.
Justice Smith from Detective Pikachu is in this. Mm-hmm. Hugh Grant is in this.
Hugh Grant's in this.
He's the Rogue.
Hugh Grant's is in his fandom bag.
Hugh Grant's the Rogue.
He was Loki. He was old Loki.
Yeah.
I wish if they did the Marvel movies in like the 80s or 90s, Hugh Grant still would have been Loki.
Yeah, it was a fun trailer.
Oh yeah.
It was a really fun trailer. Yeah. I'm very happy with it. It looks fun. And so Prey got a full screening at Comic-Con, mm-hmm. which is the Predator prequel, and reviews are in from Comic-Con and overwhelmingly positive. Yeah. People really like this. People are saying this might actually be better than Predator 1.
You don't disrespect Schwarzenegger like this.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't have a ton to say about this, but I was kind of stunned by the reaction.
Yeah, it was like that was like something that was scrolling through Twitter when we were looking, was like a big thing, is like Prey was just screened, cool, but like moreover that it's good, like it's really good.
Yeah, and it's a Hulu original. So this is gonna hit Hulu on August 5th. So
not Hulu having that type of money to get the Predators prequel.
Well, it's Disney money.
Oh, my fault.
It's Fox money by way of Disney money, mm-hmm. making its way to Hulu.
Right.
So
who handles that money?
Yes.
Pizza Papa.
Did you see what Bruce Campbell said about Pizza Papa?
That he's
he's doing the Mysterio thing again.
Basically, he's just a Nexus being. Some people were calling him the Beyonder. Like, he's the one that delayed Doctor Strange 45 seconds so that he can basically survive.
I think it's just Bruce Campbell having a bit of fun.
Yeah. Because who's going to tell Bruce Campbell to shut up? Nobody. He was in the Evil Dead movies. You better watch your mouth when you talk to him.
So another thing that coming out of Comic-Con I am more excited for than I was going into it. That's all I really got to say. Next thing, I guess I can clear out now so you can talk about Teen Wolf. So go off, King.
I've been waiting for this moment. I'm gonna do the Killmonger monologue. I've been waiting my entire life for this moment. So younger Court was just the biggest Teen Wolf fan for no reason. It was just on one day, and I was like, I think it's because like I too was a young adult when this was coming out. And then, because I was in middle school and high school, and then, it's also fantasy, so I was like, this is cool, this is fun. Who doesn't like werewolves and stuff? So, yeah, Teen Wolf's back. They got most of the original cast. They just do not have, most famously, Dylan O'Brien as Styles is the only one that's not back, which has people a little bit tentative, but thought the trailer looked like Teen Wolf. That's the through line. It definitely looked like Teen Wolf. Biggest for me that is back is Tyler Hoechlin. I didn't think he was going to come back to play Derek Hale, but he's back. So I don't know how much of this story, what it's going to look like, but it just looks like more Teen Wolf stuff. Teen Wolf basically there's this ancient thing that's coming back to Beacon Hills because it's a nexus for like supernatural beings, and it's going to cause a muck, and then Scott McCall's got to do the alpha stuff. That's Teen Wolf. And then, another big character to come back is Allison Argent is back. And looks like she could be potentially either like a right-hand villain to the main villain or the villain of the show, just kind of, a twisted version of her old self, because she did die in the second half of season 3. So, man, I can't lie and say I'm not excited.
Hey, man, I'm here for it. Yeah. I'm here for all the excitement.
Yeah.
That's what Comic-Con's all about.
That's what it's for. It's for Teen Wolf revivals and Prey movies.
Yeah, and The Walking Dead.
Yeah, and The Walking Dead.
So The Walking Dead got a look at not just the end of the final season, but also Rick Grimes showed up, mm-hmm. and was like,
Reed Richards?
I'm here to... What?
Nah, I'm just spitballing. I'm just playing.
Yeah, so, I forget... why does the actor's name blanking in my brain now? Andrew Lincoln. Andrew Lincoln,
escaping you?
Yeah, Andrew
you pulled
Lincoln.
with me. I forget people's names all the time.
So Andrew Lincoln rolled up and he's like, "Hello, I'm here to clear the air about what's going on with Rick Grimes," because there was rumors for a while that there was a series of AMC films that was going to be released.
I remember that.
Chronicling what's going on with Rick Grimes. And he's like, "Nope, what we're going to do is we're doing a 6-episode kind of miniseries chronicling Rick and Michonne to the end of The Walking Dead." Cool.
Yeah, I think that's the right decision. I think The Walking Dead, it's out of its prime. Just any way, shape, or form you're going to cut it, it's past its prime. It's on its it's not that it's on its last legs in terms of it being, not great, but I think us being, clamoring for Walking Dead content is behind us ever since Glenn got killed. It just hadn't been the same.
Yeah.
So I think they should just Logan this, have it be a nice send-off to both their characters and possibly The Walking Dead as a whole. I know, is Fear the Walking Dead still a thing? I think it is still ongoing.
Fear of the Walking Dead is still going on, and obviously the main series is coming to a close.
Right.
But Rick and Michonne, obviously two of the most popular characters, so give them a miniseries.
Give them a miniseries, yeah.
All right. So the big two.
We didn't talk about John Wick.
Oh,
how could you forget about Donnie Yen being in John Wick?
Oh yeah,
and Lawrence
right.
Fishburne.
Yeah. So the John Wick 4 trailer.
You want John Wick to come and kill you?
No, not at all. That guy's scary.
You saw that Keanu Reeves said he wanted to play an older version of Batman?
I'm not against it.
He's got the voice.
I'm not against it. So yeah, John. Almost got a spit take out of this guy.
John 4.
That's all it's called.
John 4.
Yeah, so John Wick Chapter 4 is coming out. We got a trailer at Comic-Con that was released online, and it's more John Wick.
More John Wick, just with a pretty good cast, in my opinion. You put Donnie Yen in anything, I'm watching it.
Donnie Yen is in this. Yeah. Bill Skarsgård is in this.
Bill Skarsgård is the villain.
Ian McShane is in this.
Yep. What
Beautiful.
a cast.
Clancy Brown is in this. Hopefully not as a typical military guy like he's in everything else.
You know what? This man can't escape being a military guy unless he's Mr. Krabs.
He's a shady military guy in everything he's in. I watched him in Daredevil and I was like, is he going to be a good military guy?
Nope.
Nope, he was a scumbag.
Bad military guy. You watched him in The Flash? Was he going to be a good military guy? Nope. took Rod and took advantage of him.
Damn it, Clancy Brown.
Come on, man. Just be one good military guy.
So maybe he'll be that in this. I don't know where military guy fits into the John Wick universe.
It can't be good. You think that's going to be a good thing? You think John Wick's going to get along with the military?
No.
Exactly. And guess who's spearheading this? Clancy Brown. We don't know this. We're just saying.
Look, Clancy Brown.
He knows his bag.
He was also good in that one episode of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, he was.
All right.
Can we add Clancy? Can we add him to the board?
Sure.
Yes.
I'm going to need an actual board at some point.
Because who's on the board? Jeffrey Wright.
You ask this every week, and I'm never sure.
It's Jeffrey Wright.
Andrew Garfield.
Oppenheimer. Dune.
Oppenheimer, both the person and the movie.
Yeah. The person?
Yeah.
He made the nuclear bomb.
True. But without it, we wouldn't get this Christopher Nolan film that's coming out.
We would have got a lot of things without...
See?
Maybe I shouldn't say anything anymore.
All right. I guess we can move on.
Yeah.
To the DC extravaganza.
Yeah, DC blew the roof off the place.
At 1 o'clock.
At 1 o'clock in the afternoon when everybody was at work.
So we can start with Sandman, I guess.
Yeah.
That looked good.
I did look really good. I'm actually pretty excited. I want to do my deep dive because Daredevil kind of took my deep dive time the last 2 days, so I definitely want to, get into Sandman a little bit more.
Yeah, one of Neil Gaiman's most famous works, if not his most famous work. He developed this series. The series has been in development hell for a long time, so it's good that it's finally getting out there. I mean, I think part of that has to do with Lucifer, the TV show, because Tom Ellis is just amazing in that role, and he was actually considered to be brought back as Lucifer in this.
Right.
But Neil Gaiman was like, I think it's kind of difficult to kind of reel him back in
Right.
to this universe. So they went with Gwendolyn Christie, who obviously people will know from Game of Thrones
Right.
as Brienne of Tarth, and maybe less notably as Captain Phasma in the sequel Star Wars trilogy. And that's a great casting. Tom Sturridge is Morpheus, aka the King of Dreams.
Mhm.
And this, I mean, the Sandman story is incredible.
No,
If you have not read it, I really, really recommend the comic book run because it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's one of, like I said, it's not only Neil Gaiman's most famous work, but I think it's his best work.
Yeah, that guy can write. He can create. I think he's one of the best world builders in terms of comics too.
Yep. David S. Goyer is also on this as a visionary for the story also, so take with that what you will.
Hopefully Cara Delevingne doesn't show up.
But that looks really good. And then we got the super back-to-back attack of Shazam and Black Adam. So we'll talk about Shazam first.
Right, because I do think these two are going to interject at some... It's just fitting that the both of them were at this Comic-Con panel.
And was literally the only thing that they showed off.
Yeah.
Other than Zack Snyder being in Season 3 of Harley Quinn.
Is that the thing? That's the thing we should focus on.
What, Zack Snyder?
No, I was joking. All right, so Shazam, Fury of the Gods, looked incredibly fun.
I really like that trailer. I liked it a
so
lot.
Fun. A couple things that just off the top of my head that I really enjoyed. I love how they're kind of painting Philadelphia as its own character. They're really playing into the fact and giving the city some life. Yeah, I mean, it's to the point where they're literally fighting in the Philly Stadium. They're fighting a giant dragon. So kind of this story pertains around, like, the story of the film itself is, I guess, Atlas's daughter, or is it Atlas, right?
Yeah.
Atlas's daughters, played by Helen Mirren and
Lucy Liu?
Yeah, Lucy Liu. They're just gonna kind of be the villains. I just think they're,
Helen Mirren being in a DC movie is
I love
crazy.
it. I love it. I just think they're gonna be, your typical, they're gonna get their fun action sequences. They're gonna get their fun, comedic bits. It's gonna be a fun time. Two classic actresses that can just, kind of chew the scenery. That's all you can hope for out of some of these villains, where you kind of know the expectation. Chew as much scenery as you can get, and kind of just give some good banter with the heroes. That's all we can ask for. So I think they're going to do that and have a great time doing it. But what I'm really enjoying is Billy's story this time. Kind of he's Dominic Toretto. And I'm not joking. There's
a Fast and Furious joke in this trailer.
There is. Like, that's what his whole story is revolving around. He's kind of, reversed from the last film where he didn't really want this family. Now he's the one that's trying to keep this family together. And it's kind of just, it's really poetic the way that they're going about it. And, Zachary Levi, he's kind of like, in my opinion, he's kind of like DC's Chris Pratt at this point. Like, he just injected this, like, new energy into them, this youthful energy. And, the trailer looks great. The new suits look really good.
I know people are divided on the suits. I like them.
I like them a lot, too. I think they look really good. And, who else do we have in this movie? We're going to get...
Rachel Zegler?
Yeah, that's kind of the big addition.
Also a daughter of Atlas, another daughter.
Yeah. Atlas, relax, man.
Atlas, chill out, man.
Chill out, man.
Ross Butler, Megan Good, all in this as the adult versions of Billy's siblings. Mm-hmm. And then Jake Dylan Grazer is back as Freddy.
Yeah, who is going to have a love story with Rachel Zegler's character, I believe.
Yeah.
Fall in love with the god. Doesn't usually work out well.
No.
Learned that the hard way in Thor.
But no, I think this movie looks incredibly promising. I think it's gonna, man, DC, you can do good things. They've been doing good things over the last couple years.
You don't gotta cross everything over.
Yeah, look at the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, Suicide Squad is I think it just point blank period is one of the best movies of 2021.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. So
this is coming out in a couple months, December. This is, oh man, it's in Avatar territory.
I feel bad for Avatar. Just kidding.
No, Avatar's on the board.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Avatar Way of the Water? No, specifically James Cameron's on the board. Because he just doesn't care. I love it.
Yeah, he's like, you're going to see this.
Yeah, you're going to see this. 3 hours. I don't care. No, we don't care, man.
We don't care. We're going to see it.
Shut up and watch them ride this whale. It's awesome.
Give me my 3D glasses, you cowards.
Yeah. You got anything else about the Shazam?
No, I think it looks fun. I think it captures the tone of the first movie really well. And
they're killing one of the kids.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Probably going to be...
Stranger Things didn't commit, but...
Yeah.
Shazam Fury of the Gods is going to commit.
Yeah. Oh, Diamond Hansu's back, too. I didn't think he was going to come. Yeah. You don't lose that man.
Nah. If you get that guy, you get that guy forever.
The kid that plays Billy Batson was in the gym the whole time.
Yeah.
He's swole now. It's crazy.
Yeah, Asher Angel got ripped for this movie.
He got ripped just to turn into Zachary Levi.
Zachary Levi better watch it before he just becomes Shazam both ways.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the point, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Right. Let him just play Shazam until he's like in his 30s, and then,
Speaking of hulking monstrosities, The Rock descended upon Hall H.
Literally.
In full Black Adam garb.
It's insane.
Because that guy doesn't know how to do anything else other than 100%. We knew he was going to go 100%, and he
went 1,000%.
He went 1,000%, in fact.
Yeah.
And then did a real quick change somehow. I'm unsure of how he pulled that off into regular Rock clothes and promoted the heck out of Black Adam, which we got another trailer for. And I like this trailer a heck of a lot better than the first one.
Me too. I think it sets the world a little bit better. I can't get over Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. It's without seeing this movie, it's one of my favorite comic book castings of all time. But yeah, I just think it kind of sets the stage a little bit more for how his dynamic's going to be with the Justice Society. I did wish we saw a little bit more of Cyclone and Atom Smasher. I think they're saving them a little bit more. Atom Smasher specifically, I think we saw him run for like a second. That's like the only thing we've seen him do.
It's a little bit more Hawkman.
Yeah. Getting bodied.
Classic Hawkman getting bodied.
I'm looking at the Hawkman Funko Pop in here.
Not the Hawkman Legends of Tomorrow Funko Pop.
Talk about fear.
Yeah, but no, this looks good. He's menacing.
Yeah, he is menacing. Yeah.
He's real scary.
And I love how they didn't shy away from how powerful he is, because one, there's three pieces to this. It's one, again, how he's supposed to relate to the Justice Society. Like, he's just dismissing them. Even Dr. Fate's having trouble with this, and he's the Lord of Order. So Black Adam's power is just undeniable.
To the point where Dr. Fate's like, look, you either got to be a good guy or you got to be a bad guy.
Yeah, it's like we
and Black Adam's like, both?
Both, maybe? Yeah, I'm the Rock. I don't have to
both.
choose.
B-O-F-F. Both.
Yeah, let me get both. 2 is Shazam versus Black Adam, which I think is...
It has to be, right?
They're just going to merge these two movies, right? And they're just going to be one singular title.
Because this is how you do it.
Yeah, they're actually doing it.
They're doing how they should have done Batman and Superman.
It's such a crazy concept you guys are doing what you're doing it. You had your hero, you set him up, you put him on a couple journeys. You had your anti-hero, you set him up, you put him on a couple journeys.
And then boom, you smash them together.
Yeah, they punch for a bit and then they're mates.
They're not mates, though.
Yeah. I do think it's going to be a little... way more gray than, not a little bit, like a lot more gray than the comics are, but...
And then they asked the question. They asked The Rock the question.
This is part 3.
This is part 3. We're segueing.
And then we're segueing into the segue.
Unless you have anything else to say about Black Adam.
No. Because you're just going to listen to me talk about Pierce Brosnan for a little bit.
Yeah, so they asked The Rock, like...
Amanda Waller's also going to be in this movie.
Right. Viola Davis is back.
Viola Davis is back, which I think she's trying to form a little bit more powerful, she's trying to get the Suicide Squad back. She's just like, I'm not having characters like Polka Dot Man this time.
I'm getting Black Adam.
I'm getting the heavy hitters this time, yeah.
Yeah, because this universe doesn't have Superman in it.
Which is part 3 to this whole, trifecta.
No Superman.
No Superman.
No Superman anything.
This was prompted... So, one, for Black Adam's sake, this was prompted by a kid asking The Rock, who would win?
And he says...
Depends who's playing Superman.
Interesting.
Tyler Hoechlin.
I like Tyler Hoechlin.
Brandon Routh. Bring Brandon Routh back. Again.
But here's what you have to understand about The Rock. That guy doesn't say anything without it being extremely calculated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That guy is a hype machine. He's a promotion machine. He doesn't just say things to say them. If he says something like that, he has something up his sleeve, or he knows something. So, who knows?
Right.
Who really knows? But the other thing was, so there were rumors abound that Henry Cavill was going to show up at Comic-Con. This is why you don't listen to rumors, folks, and then get mad when the rumor doesn't happen.
Right. Because
Henry Cavill did not show up. We learned today that he actually has COVID.
Yeah.
So perhaps that played into
And this is gonna sound really horrible, but hopefully that was the reason. But who cares if it's not?
Right.
He was not there. Yeah. It's not the end of the world.
He was also overseas.
Right.
When this happened. He was filming The Witcher.
Can you just have fun on The Witcher? He said he was having a lot of fun doing that.
He loves The Witcher.
Yeah. maybe more than he has. He has probably a better time than doing Superman.
So no Superman anything was announced. That this DC panel felt like it was missing something.
Yeah, because it's not even if Marvel wasn't there. I agree. It did feel like it was missing. It was just missing the thing. Like it was mixing. Like not that you need to have.
Granted, The Rock did everything he could to make Black Adam the thing.
But it's Black Adam. It's not Batman. It's not Superman. It's not Wonder Woman.
Black Adam is bolstered by The Rock, not the other way around.
Right.
The Rock is not bolstered by Black Adam.
No.
Black Adam is 1,000% bolstered by The Rock. So he did everything he could to promote this movie at Comic-Con, but it did, like, when that panel finished, the Black Adam panel finished, and it was just like, all right, the DC panel's over. I was like, what?
Yeah, like, all right, everybody's going to clear off, and then Marvel called an ISO play.
So no Superman anything. So we don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
there.
and it is. I think I texted you and I just said, like, think about this. Like, think about where DC. They don't have any there's no Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman 84 wasn't a success. Like, they don't. I always say.
They have a Batman, but he's just working in his own space.
Right. And then, there's. You have a Batman that's not a part of the same Earth.
You have Michael Keaton.
Like the Flash movie. We don't know what this. Because.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, right. Because if all the Ezra Miller stuff didn't happen, I think we would have gotten a Flash trailer on Saturday.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
That probably would have been the thing.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I didn't even think about that until just now, but you're probably right. They probably did have a Flash thing, and then they were like, probably shouldn't.
Yeah, it probably was going to be the main thing, because that's the only, of the main heroes that had something that was coming out soon.
Well, everything else got pushed back.
Right. A while. A while.
Yeah.
Yeah, because essentially if nothing got pushed back, we probably would have been talking about Aquaman, Jason Momoa probably would have, people would have been there to get this thing going and being like, hey, the DC Universe, we've got a plan, and the plan is through the Flash, but...
They would have done a mini Marvel thing.
Right.
But Black Adam.
Yeah.
So, yeah, who knows what's going on with Superman.
Yeah. It just...
Tyler Hoechlin's just soldiering along, though.
Yeah, he is. He's
great.
Thing. Robert Pattinson and Tyler Hoechlin just said, we're doing our own thing.
Yeah, Tyler Hoechlin is fabulous.
Yeah.
I say this all the time. He comes up, he's fabulous as Superman.
And you know what it's about him? It's not when he's doing the Superman things. It's when he's doing the Clark Kent things. I just immediately... when he's pretending to struggle to carry the water cooler, that's it.
My favorite bit from this season is when he gets... Or, is it season 1 or season 2 when he gets punched?
I think it's this season.
He gets punched at the football game.
I think it is last season. Yeah.
When he gets punched at the football game on accident, and he falls down.
Yeah. He sells it so well. He sells
so
that Christopher Reeve era Clark Kent.
He's so good. All right. That's enough out of you, DC. Unless you have anything else to add.
No, I don't. I just wish there was a bit of direction, and
But Black Adam and Shazam look promising.
No, they do. But again, not that everything needs to culminate to something, but it's just they don't have the same battle that Marvel has in terms of Marvel had to fight to get the rights for all these characters. They were playing off, and this is something I'm going to talk about, because when we get to the very end, when we talk about the theories that we have for Marvel going forward, DC doesn't have to contend with not having the rights to their characters. They have the most famous 3 characters.
Well, we talk about that all the time with Marvel. It's really astounding what they pulled off.
Yeah.
From the point where they were nearly bankrupt.
Yep.
And then we're just we're just going to take these characters.
Here's an Agatha Coven of Chaos show.
Well, yeah, but going back to the beginning, when they had all their popular characters were sold off to different places, and they were just looked around and they were like, well, shoot, we have Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and the Hulk.
Right, we have the Avengers.
And we barely have the Hulk. We have a Hulk on a halvesies deal. Let's take a shot at it. And it forged the single greatest movie franchise in history.
There's no
in terms of accomplishment.
There's no offender, but
there's nothing like this that we've seen.
Are we turning into Stephen A. Smith? Turning into First Take? There's no debate.
I mean, there's not.
No,
I say this all the time. It's really unprecedented what they've pulled off, what Marvel Studios has pulled off, to the point that they're now bankrolled by Disney, that they've reacquired every single character that they sold,
right,
with the exception of Spider-Man, but even that is on a good faith kind of lease deal.
Yeah, and I mean, storytelling wise, it worked because they just did an alternate Earth type of thing. It was really smart the way they went about it.
So it's insane. It's absolutely insane, and
everything's technically canon.
Yeah. And that's the perfect segue into the Marvel stuff.
And why they work, it's working.
So the first bit I want to talk about is the Marvel animated stuff, because this actually took place the day prior to the big prime time Hall H spectacle. So we got some really interesting stuff out of this Marvel animation panel. First and foremost, Spider-Man freshman year is turning out way more interesting than I thought it was going to.
Bigger than I thought it was going to be. This is like a pretty substantial show that they're putting together. So essentially Spider-Man freshman year. So here's the question. Is this in the main Marvel continuity or is it not? I think there's two rules of thought. Rule number one of thought is yes or no. You could just ask yourself yes or no. So let's just say yes, it's in the main Marvel continuity. Some things aren't adding up necessarily.
No.
Not at all. Norman Osborn essentially takes the place of Tony Stark. It's Nico from The Runaways is his best friend.
Yep.
We have Harry Osborn's in this, right?
Yep.
You have you have Doc Ock in this. There's a whole bunch of characters.
He's got a bunch of different outfits.
Yeah, he's got he's got even the Future Foundation one. So that's the yes. The no is no. It's just not the continuity, and they're just doing their own thing, and it's like a loose
I think if they ever wanted to tie this, they'd just say it's a different universe.
Right.
That's all you have to do.
Right. No, I agree with that.
Because there's some 0% chance that this can be the Holland main MCU Spider-Man.
Right.
The Norman Osborn thing it's literally the Civil War panel.
Right, yeah.
Basically, where he's in the room with Aunt May.
Right.
And it's Norman Osborn instead of Tony Stark.
Right.
Black Norman Osborn, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Who's Giancarlo Esposito, maybe? Giancarlo Esposito inspired. But here's the other side to the coin. That
Harvey Dent.
Nope. Oh, sorry. Sorry. That this whole thing has just the last 2 days have sent me down an absolute rabbit hole. Because there was two parts. There was the Daredevil part, because that's my favorite Marvel character. And then there's the Kang part to all this, which I think is so much more it's woven than people are giving it credit for. I think that the other side of this can be that Kang's messing with stuff to a level where universes are being altered, timelines are being altered, and this is a possible timeline that we've been sent on for Spider-Man. It might be something that's too grand in scale to just apply to an animated show, but I mean, if what I think's happening is happening, that's definitely a possibility. That this is possibly it was supposed to be the correct version if Kang never intervened in anything.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the villains, I mean, Scorpion is in this, and like you said, Doc Ock is in this. None of that lines up,
right?
Because he didn't know who Doc Ock was in No Way Home, and obviously Nico from The Runaways being in this is interesting. Yeah. I like that.
And she's comic Nico, she's got the staff and so interesting, really interesting.
Yeah, really, really interesting. I like the art style a lot.
Art style's cool. It feels like the 60s kind of comic book paneling, so it does look pretty cool. And Spider-Man's sophomore year's already been confirmed. Yeah, so that's going to be coming to us.
And then the other thing, which, kind of ties into news that we're going to get into later, is Charlie Cox is going to be voicing Daredevil, who's apparently, I guess, fighting alongside Spider-Man in this.
In the black suit.
Yep, in the black suit.
Which, again, doesn't really line up with anything.
No. But it's fun.
I remember that was the first thing I heard about the show, and then I think we were going back and forth. It's is this guy? I'm it could still be he.
And I just avalanched you with stuff.
Because I wasn't home, so I didn't know better. And then I saw Doc Ock, and I was like, wait a minute.
Then you saw Norman Osborn.
I was like, wait a minute. This doesn't make sense. But yeah, Kang is the through line of this entire Marvel thing.
And then segueing, I guess, into another thing, X-Men '97. We got to look at that, and it looks so good.
Yes, it does. It's just a nostalgia, chills.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Yeah. What are the main things? So the main things is the Hellfire Club is back, and apparently they're going to have a substantial storyline in this. The biggest thing probably, because obviously the end of the original X-Men series, Charles Xavier went to space. So Magneto is the leader of the X-Men in this.
Got the cape. Got the big M on the chest. Yeah, cool.
He's got the cool hair.
Got the long flowing locks.
Yep.
And then we got kind of a lineup shot of all your favorites. And they're basically X-Men costumes. Storm, notably, has the mohawk.
Yeah. But it's a little bit more pronounced and a little bit more free-flowing.
Yeah, other than the long kind of white hair that she had in the actual animated series. And then we got to look at the new characters that are going to be showing in this. So Sunspot, Cable, Nightcrawler, Bishop, and then there were 2 others that I couldn't place, but I forget who they are. But those are the main ones. And then we obviously Gambit's back. Rogue, Wolverine, Jubilee is back in this. Very cool, man. Beast, Jean, they're all back. Cyclops is back, obviously. Very cool.
Yeah,
just very cool.
I'm glad this rumor of. I guess we'll get into it in a future episode, but I like this rumor that Glenn Powell from Top Gun Maverick is going to be Cyclops.
That would be good.
Jesse would be phenomenal as Cyclops. He's just the right amount of jerk. And
he brings a kind of a gravitas to Cyclops that I think lacked. Not that James Marsden's bad, but he quickly got so overshadowed by Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, the only thing that I'd like counter with that, it's not his fault.
No.
Yeah, it's not. It's Hugh Jackman being Hugh Jackman.
That's what I mean. But Glenn Powell has a gravitas that Cyclops would be the focus.
Right. Because people know Miles Teller, but Glenn Powell was a standout from that movie. So obviously he's somebody that can kind of draw the attention of a lot of people. And again, this is if I ever once we get to the point of talking about what our dream for the MCU X-Men would be, a big thing for me is Cyclops is the leader of the X-Men. It's not Wolverine. That's a big thing that I want them to focus on is he's their field leader, and a lot of the story flows through him. He was the first one that Professor X recruited. That's the way that it should kind of go. So
yep. We got a look at I Am Groot, the little short Disney Plus short series. Looks fun.
Can we get it out of the way? Don't take it too seriously.
No, it's a kid's show.
It's a kid's show.
It's a kid's show made for kids.
There might not be cameos every 5 seconds. It's fine.
Just little fun Groot adventures. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, Bradley Cooper's coming back as Rocket.
Am I going to watch it? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I might check it out. They're shorts. Yeah. They're going to be 10 minutes. 10-15 minute episodes.
Yeah, I'll throw it on.
Yeah. It's harmless. What If has been not just... Obviously, season 2 is coming, but season 3 is also already been greenlit. We know some characters that are coming back. Peggy Carter is coming back. Captain Carter is coming back. Scarlet Witch is coming back, but
voiced by
Elizabeth Olsen. So it's going to be a different Scarlet Witch from the zombie rendition that we saw. But other than that, I don't think.
What if Scarlet Witch never opened Darkhold?
That would be fun.
Don't open it.
Don't open it, Scarlet
Open the
Witch.
Book of Ashanti. We're going to talk about the Book of Ashanti today. Would you believe it?
We really are. Apparently, there's going to be an episode where Odin squares off with a Mandarin.
Love it.
Give it to me. This is what If should be.
Yes.
Give it to me.
Give us all the fights. That's the Watcher versus Ultravision.
Are we getting Anthony Hopkins back? Probably not, right?
I don't know. Anthony Hopkins does stuff. I feel like he'd say yes.
There's going to be a Hela story, apparently. Another Doctor Strange story is apparently going to be in this.
Give me every single Doctor Strange version for What If. That was the best episode of season 1, in my opinion, in my humble
That was amazing. So we're going to get the Tony Stark being on Sakaar.
Right, which was notably left off of season 1. That was supposed to be there.
Where he's going to team up with Valkyrie and Hulk. So that's going to be fun. Captain Carter meeting the Winter Soldier, which is going to be fun.
Which is going to be Steve Rogers instead of Bucky Barnes.
Yep. Which is very cool. So yeah, I think that's fun. And then obviously we're getting, like I said, a season 3 has already been greenlit.
Yeah.
And then the last one I wanted to talk about for Marvel Animation is the Marvel Zombies show got kind of more of a spotlight shown on it. The most notable thing, in my opinion, and probably in the opinion of a lot of other people, because it's not a unique opinion, is that it's going to be TVMA. Very, very interesting.
I like it.
I like it too. It's just interesting.
Yeah, just get gruesome. The Marvel Zombies comic is just...
It's going to be an animated Marvel Walking Dead, essentially.
Yeah, just run rampant with it. Just get the kill count up. One thing that the Marvel Zombies comic does really well, it just kind of gives you this sense of hopelessness, but there is just a little sense of hope, but it is gruesome. It's to the point where, you have T'Challa's just his head just sitting there, which they did in season 1, obviously during the Marvel Zombies episode. So it's going to be that episode on steroids. That's just TVMA. Who do we got in there? So notably, it's the Shang-Chi cast is kind of in there. So Shang-Chi himself, Katie, and Death Dealer are there.
Yep. Yelena Belova and Red Guardian.
Yep. The GOAT, Jimmy Woo.
Jimmy Woo in some type of weird denim vest, holding a playing card situation.
Yeah.
Is he Gambit?
Nope. What's his line? Flourish. Yeah.
Flourish. I like the Shang-Chi design a lot with the Wastelander kind of cape.
It looks like he only has 5 of the 10 rings though. Wonder who's got the other 5. Maybe Zhao Ling has the other 5.
Maybe. We got Kate Bishop and Kamala Khan.
Yep.
Which is cool because we glowed about Miss Marvel a couple weeks ago, and always glad that character's kind of getting more and more to do, which is fun. And then we do know a few of the zombies.
Yeah.
So Icarus is going to be in this as a zombie.
How does this work?
How does an Eternal become a zombie?
Right.
I don't know.
Oh, because how did they explain the virus in this?
It was a quantum thing.
Yeah, so I don't...
Well, and what if?
Right, so I guess that's how, because it's not necessarily, like, something that's, like, you know... It's not necessarily something that can affect, like... Because, essentially, they do still have, like... They are... But they're, like, the Celestials were the ones that kind of were tampering with the Eternals and made them, so I could see how they do have some organic bits to them.
Yeah, in the What If series, the virus was a quantum sickness that escaped the quantum realm and got out.
The dang quantum realm.
Dang quantum realm. You can't just put quantum in front of everything.
Scott Lang is... Man, Paul Rudd as Scott Lang. Too bad he's going to die in QuantumMania, in my opinion.
We also look at Zombie Scarlet Witch is obviously back. Zombie Captain Marvel also.
Ruh-roh Raggy.
Yeah, because the Marvel Zombies What If episode, they all have their powers still.
Yeah, Abomination.
Yep, Abomination. Let's see who else is in the... Okoye. Zombie Okoye. Zombie Hawkeye. Zombie Captain America's back.
Zombie Cap.
Zombie Cap is back. So that's fun.
He's half the man he was.
Him and Peggy Carter from Multiverse of Madness should hang out.
So that's Marvel Zombies.
I'm looking forward to it. That TVMA thing really piqued my curiosity because obviously segueing that with Deadpool and Logan making their way onto American Disney Plus.
And possibly Daredevil if we get lucky.
We'll see.
I'm just going to need you to clear out for that one.
We're approaching that next.
Getting there.
Because after the big animation thing, we got big prime time, 8 p.m. spectacle, Marvel Hall H. We're back. What are they going to announce? Here's what we're going to announce. Everything. Not everything. They're saving a bunch of stuff for D23, which is going to be in September. Yep. But so the first thing we wanted to talk about was just the stuff that was announced. We're going to break down then we're going to break down the footage stuff that was shown. Then we're going to break down the trailers, and then we're going to do the end bit. So you're going to piece together what we're omitting for different sections as I give these kind of this list. So this is the Phase 5 list. As Phase 4 we solidified will end with Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and She-Hulk, which is coming out in a couple weeks. Yeah. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Phase 5 was announced in almost full. There's probably things that are going to be pieced in and out, but what was announced, Echo, which we already knew, is coming, which is going to feature Daredevil, who is all over everything recently. Yeah. Do you have anything else to add about Echo?
Well, so it's going to be Kingpin, presumably the blinded Kingpin, which kind of takes place in Brian Michael Bendis' run, which I was just reading last night a little bit of. An absolutely underrated, incredible Daredevil run. So essentially, Kingpin, same thing as the comics, gets blinded by Echo, and we see that at the end of Hawkeye. So she'll come back, Kingpin will be back, Daredevil will be there. I do not know what this story is going to look like. One of the cool things Echo does, she gets the Phoenix Force. I just don't think they're going to do that for this. But if they do, though...
What if she's the first one that gets the Phoenix Force
in the MCU? Amazing.
And then they play the X-Men theme after she gets the Phoenix Force.
Oh, I hope they do that for everything.
That's what I said last when we talked about Ms. Marvel.
They got to do that when Namor shows, like that birthing scene that Namor has. They're just going to play the X-Men theme at the end.
But with like a different chord?
Yeah.
That they have been doing?
Right.
Like they did I did like the
synth tone,
synth tone to Ms. Marvel, and then Doctor Strange, it was more like horns.
Yeah. Right.
Different instruments, different X-Men theme every time a mutant-related thing happens in the MCU. I'm for that. Loki Season 2. We got some photos from that. Loki's in a McDonald's.
Yeah. Cool.
I hope Loki season 2 was more like what I thought season 1 was going to be, where it was like Loki, Doctor Who, but it's Loki.
Yeah.
I hope we get a little bit more of that in season 2.
Well, I think a big thing is they're going to have to be more proactive this time, because season 1 was very reactionary, and season 1 had so much to do with the broader scope of the MCU.
Which we didn't know until it ended, and we were like, wait a second.
Until possibly, and I always tell this to you, Loki episode 6 is like in my top 3 favorite things that's ever come out of the just that specific episode. I akin this to the way that Jonathan Hickman writes his stories. The reveals are built into the story instead of being big shock like jaw droppers. Like, it's built into like the driving of the narrative, if that makes sense. So it's like how it's presented is just like it perks your ears, but you're still invested in the story of the show, but just how grand it actually is. And it, like you said, I was not expecting them to take that big of a swing for specifically Loki itself. I just thought, like you said, Loki was just going to be kind of Doctor Who. Him and Owen Wilson were just going to kind of run around, you just run around the multiverse, or run around time, and just, he's going to reluctantly help him prune people so they don't prune him. But that show was so much bigger in scope, so much bigger in scale. I think it's the best looking Marvel show that we've gotten. I think it has, to me, it has the best story. Miss Marvel's a close second, but I think it has the best story. And like I said, that episode 6 reveal, I will never forget. I woke up a little earlier and I was like, it was early, so I had to rub my eyes. I was like, is that Jonathan Majors? And it was.
Yeah.
And I mean,
it's insane.
Yeah, this, like I said, this whole through line of this, every single property, I think now we can kind of see where the direction is led, even through stage 5 of what this kind of feels like. So yeah.
So I'm hoping season 2, the stakes are a little, honestly, I'm hoping the stakes are a little lower.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of cool. Like this, we already dealt with this, because presumably Jonathan Majors is going to be in season 2. I don't think there's like a question in my opinion. He's going to be he's still not going to be,
maybe they run into him at the McDonald's.
Yeah. What did I say before we hopped on? Yeah. So like we were talking before, and I was just for fun rattling off different versions of Kang. I was like, what if Kang but John F. Kennedy? But like, I was like, what if the Kang they need is like the Kang that just works at like Burger King? So like Kang at McDonald's, like, Kang, you don't understand Nathaniel Richards. You're the one we need. He's just like, I just work at this McDonald's.
Yeah, so I'm hoping for just fun adventures in season 2. I think that would be fun. I think Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson proved that they have really good chemistry.
Yeah, they do.
So, and then I think also season 2 might be somewhat of a little bit of a love story, with Loki trying to find his way back to Sylvie.
Right, yeah.
Because she pushed him through the portal to a different universe.
Yeah, I do not think she's going to be, at the end of time, being the one that's kind of running
No,
everything.
I don't think so either.
I think they're going to kind of not abandon that, but I think it's going to be, we already know the multiverse is cracked open from
I think his impetus and his motivation is going to be to find her.
Right,
I think that's going to be what motivates him to, maybe he maybe he does some universe hopping.
Right.
Now that the multiverse is open. Who knows? I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Natalie Holt's back to do the score. That score is just
great.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's really good. The Marvels is next. We kind of talked about that during the Ms. Marvel episode, what we expect to see from that. We got a casting for that, right? Didn't we? Recently?
Well, I mean, the rumor was that we were going to get Black Bolt back.
Right. Yep.
It's a pretty big swing if that's what we do. And the storyline is going to revolve around the Universal Inhumans, which again goes to the whole X-Men mutants thing, which I still don't think Kamala Khan's a mutant, but I do think that they just did it to toy with us. Like they did.
We talked about this off air. Once the rumors of Black Bolt possibly appearing, where he could show up, and then obviously he won't tell Kamala, but someone
he can't because he'd kill her.
Because what mouth? But someone
come on, man.
Someone on his behalf will inform Kamala, be like, "You're not. It's not a mutation. You're an Inhuman."
Right.
I think that's entirely possible that happens.
Yeah, it'll shut the nerds up.
But then people will be more mad somehow. They'll be like, you bait and switched us.
What do you want?
Did you hear the thing that there might be a musical aspect to this?
Yeah, that the first hour or the first like 40 minutes is going to be a musical.
Oh, that's going to make people so mad.
Yeah.
It's not going to make me mad, though.
No.
I'm here for it.
Because you love the Flash musical episode.
I really do like that episode.
Because Jesse L. Martin's a bona fide star. You didn't think we were going to talk about Joe West this episode. Give us a Joe West spinoff.
I really like that musical episode of The Flash. I'm fine.
What other musical episodes do we got at Superhero Con? We got The Boys. That little Boys bit.
We did that episode of Justice League Unlimited where Batman did a lounge singing bit.
Right.
I feel like we're to save Wonder Woman.
Yeah. I feel like we're missing one.
Teen Titans Go has probably done a musical.
They probably have. Teen Titans Go maybe had the greatest, like, I did not care about that show in the slightest, and then they did the thing with Batman's parents where they were going throughout time, they pushed them in the alley, and I was like, oh my god, this just got really dark.
So that's fun. Blade, more Blade stuff. We got a release date.
Yeah, release. Well, the biggest thing was the release date.
I'm a little surprised we got a release date for that.
I'm not. I'm a little surprised we didn't we don't know anything else about this movie.
I shouldn't say that. Because here's my thing, and we're going to talk about this when we talk about the Avengers stuff later. Most of these release dates are going to get shifted at some point.
Yeah, I don't want to believe it or hear it because it's just going to make me sad, but yeah,
there's 0% chance all of these stick to their release dates.
Especially if this visual effects thing catches more fire and wind, which I think it will.
Because I agree.
You need to treat your employees with respect and dignity, and apparently Marvel's just not.
Do better, Marvel.
Do better. You got to do better, Senator.
You got to do better, Kevin Feige. I don't care how many baseball caps you own.
He owns every baseball cap. He's got baseball caps from the future. Maybe that's his power. He just can summon baseball caps.
But yeah, you're right. There isn't a whole ton about this Blade thing that we know.
Which I'm not concerned about. I'm not concerned either. I do think they're trying to keep some things under wraps, and the thing could be Anthony Starr is the thing they want to keep under wraps because he is Homelander and one of the most prominent TV characters right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try to keep that and let the boys die down a little bit and let him so that he can be Dracula and Blade. But the big thing that we know about Blade never mind. The big thing that we know now is that Dane Whitman is going to be in this movie because we didn't know that before. I think what we thought was going to happen was we were going to get the Midnight Suns, and that's where they were going to team up. But it's looking like he's going to be kind of like how Black Widow was in Captain America: Winter Soldier, how Hulk was in Thor: Ragnarok. Like the two of them are going to be together, and it's going to be this whole mystical aspect. Like
that'd be fun.
Yeah, maybe they're going to involve the Ebony Blade a little bit more in this whole story, and kind of like that could interject with kind of Blade's past. So
yeah, that'd be real fun. Mm-hmm. Ironheart. Again, just confirming more things that we know. Ironheart is coming. Obviously, we saw a little bit of Dominique Thorne in the Black Panther trailer, and we're going to talk about a little bit. I think that's good. I'm ready for that.
Yeah, she looked really cool, and she did the Iron Man thing in the Black Panther trailer, which I wasn't expecting they were going to go that far. But.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Black Panther trailer. Agatha has been renamed. It was House of Harkness. It is now Coven of Chaos. Marvel loves their alliteration. Catherine Hahn obviously reprising the role. Cool.
Yeah. You know what I thought about? I wonder if this is going to be shorter than 6 episodes. If it's maybe just going to be a 4, just like
Sherlock.
Well, I mean, think about it. Well, you made a great point. We're in the comic territory now, where it's like you can have one shots. We're getting little just spaces of information and characters that could culminate or could not culminate. That's not the main. Like the focus is like. We're getting all these characters, so I feel like the Agatha show could be short, but it's the point. So what I'm thinking the point could be, obviously you want to get her back with Scarlet Witch. I think that's a thing that they're trying to keep in their head. Like Elizabeth, you don't just lose Elizabeth Olsen and kill her. You just absolutely don't.
Right.
So I think that,
especially since she's going to be featured in these animated shows also. Yeah.
So I do think that Agatha's going to try to. She's not going to be on she could be on a slight bit of a redemption arc, honestly. And it could just be like, maybe she finds out what happens to her and she's just like, all right, we have to find a way to get her back. Or maybe this show takes place in the past. That could be another thing they do. And this story can revolve around the Darkhold itself and how she even got a hold of or she even knows what the Darkhold is.
Don't open it.
The Book of Vishanti, though. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
But obviously, Catherine Hahn is just a gem.
Right, that's the main focus. It's Catherine Hahn.
Are we going to get another banger?
I think so. Just do it every season.
I'm switching one of these around because I'm saving it for the end. So we're going to go to Captain America. Captain America 4 has officially been titled A New World Order, much to the chagrin of a lot of people. Anthony Mackie is reprising his role as Sam Wilson.
Sorry, guys, that this made-up thing that people made up in comics just happened to happen in real life.
Yeah, so he's coming back. We'll be spearheading Captain America 4. We do have a director. We have... what else? Nothing.
Who do you think's going to be in this movie?
I think Bucky's probably going to be in this.
Oh, yeah,
Sharon Carter is going to be in this.
I think they're going to deal with the Sharon Carter stuff.
Probably. That would be my guess also, is the New World Order is, in fact, whatever crew Sharon Carter is assembling.
Right. Yeah.
And she's going to be like the villain, and Anthony Mackie will be like, remember when you were a good guy spying on Captain America in this hallway? And she's going to be like, I do remember.
But I'm a Skrull.
Whoa!
Yeah. I'm still through that's not her, she's a Skrull.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I just don't think she would do that. It just, she gave like everything to try to, unless she was just entranced by Captain America, by Steve Rogers.
I mean, who isn't?
Sorry. My bad. I didn't think about it that way. I do think...
You gotta do better, Sharon.
She does have to do better. I do think, like, that's your great aunt. It's just weird.
Don't kiss him.
That's one thing that it's never not gonna bother me.
I agree.
Comics or movie, it just is so freaking weird.
Don't kiss him.
Don't kiss him. That's weird. Really weird.
Don't kiss her either, Steve.
Yeah, what are you doing, Steve?
You know better.
Yeah, you got to do better, Steve Rogers.
I'm excited to see more from Anthony Mackie,
Me too, yeah. I do think that a couple characters, I think Red Guardian's going to show up in this because of
You've been saying that for a while.
Yeah, all his talk about facing off against let him face off against Captain America now. I think that would be a fun time.
That would be fun.
Give David Hart, even if it's like the cold open of the movie, that would be kind of fun. Like, he's just like, you know what? I am going to do another mission for Russia and try to be Red Guardian again.
They should bring GSP back as Batroc.
How?
I don't know.
He's dead.
Bring him. You can bring him back.
Multiverse. It's the answer to all your questions.
It's actual George St. Pierre.
Yeah.
It's the guy.
You look like this guy I know. I do not know who you're talking about. That's my French accent.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate that. So yeah, I think you're gonna get. Well, that's the thing. I think this is. You could do the Masters of Evil because I do think that also we're gonna get Daniel Bruhl back as Zemo is gonna be in this movie. I do think this movie is gonna be a little bit of a prelude to the Thunderbolts as well.
Which was my next thing.
Yeah, I think John Walker could be in this. We'll see, unless they just want to save him for the Thunderbolts. The Captain Britain thing was the thing that I could be a possibility. Spearheaded by Brian Braddock.
Oh.
Played since I lost out on my Hercules casting, I'm going to pass it off to another one. Played by Henry Cavill. Let him be Captain Britain.
And then
Captain Canuck's a Marvel character. I'm not even joking. That's a real thing.
Is he like Canada's Captain America? I knew it. I guess the big question mark is Chris Evans, right?
They want to do the Secret Empire thing because this is what they already did that. So Winter Soldier already did all that. I don't think you double down on that. I think this movie needs to be a little bit more of like I think this movie needs to be presented a little bit more as him finding what this new Avengers team is going to look like. Like, this is the new world order for him, and also, like, he's going to have to acclimate to being Captain America, because we just saw, we saw day one for him. Went decent.
Went pretty well.
Yeah, went pretty well. Like, this is going to be the fault, like, the whole through line that is in the show, and sadly, just in real life, that a black man can be Captain America. What's wrong with you guys?
Do better.
Do better.
You gotta do better.
You gotta do better, human race. It's made up. It's fine. He's Captain America. What's the problem?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
None of it matters.
Yeah. None of this matters, Hulk said.
The segue to the Thunderbolts couldn't have been set up better. So that was another thing that was announced that we all thought was going to happen and is in fact happening. So, yeah.
Is Wong going to be the leader of the Thunderbolts? He's going to be the Nick Fury of the Thunderbolts?
No, surely not.
He's going to be the leader of the new Avengers, it's looking like.
Yeah.
It's like the Magical Fury. It's amazing. I love it.
I love it so much.
It's such a smart way to do it.
So, yeah. The Thunderbolts is happening.
You should be Benedict Wong's, like, you should be his, like, publicist.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I'd do it.
Give him a call, Benedict Wong.
Unfortunately, William Hurt obviously will not be in this because he passed away some months ago. Who, figured he would have been a big piece of this movie.
I think he just would have been Red Hulk. I think that's
or at the very least, he would have been like assembling the team.
Yeah, he would have been like the field leader as like.
Could have been like the Amanda Waller.
Right, as like Val's like the GM. I don't know how to. Yeah, I guess she acquires all these players.
But she's going to be probably the one that kind of takes the Thunderbolt Ross role as the person who oversees this team. Right. We still don't know who she's working for.
If she's working for, I doubt who I think she could be working for. It's one of two people. It's because if you want to go the Dark Avengers route, because I think they're just going to mesh the Thunderbolts and the Dark Avengers for this. It could very well be Norman Osborn. I don't think that's the case. The bigger, more sinister thing could be Doctor Doom's the one that's kind of perusing everybody into the way that for the New World Order, like you said, it's like feels like a prelude to this. Like,
yeah.
the reason I think this is the end is because I think they want the world to think that going into Secret Wars, this is the Avengers, but they're not who they're not who they say they are. Because, like, I mean, Miss Marvel's a good kind of pressure point for this, because she even said, like, we're celebrating the great heroes of our time. Like, what if we get the version of them that's more sinister, like they're darker, like they will go on hit missions, like that's the team that's going to be presented to the public. Like, these are your new Avengers. Like, here's the new Black Widow, here's the new Captain America, here's the new Hulk. But, like, somebody's going to Google their past and be like, are you sure these should be the Avengers? Like, Ghost is their aunt? Like, maybe not.
Right. Yeah.
But I think the thing they're going to be like, well, we do have an Avenger, and it's Bucky Barnes is going to be the Avengers that's with us. And they're like, wasn't he a Hydra agent? And they're going to be like, don't worry. He's better.
So this is, I guess, going to be Marvel's kind of, not answer to, but this is going to be like their version of the Suicide Squad, essentially.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah. Anybody else you want to see? Because right now the rumor is Daniel Bruhl is going to be, he's going to be Zemo. Bucky's going to be, Sebastian Stan's going to be Bucky. So,
John Walker, Wyatt Russell.
Right. The team itself is probably going to be John Walker, Yelena Belova,
Ghost.
Emil Blancy, Ghost, Taskmaster, maybe. This is why I was kind of hoping they kind of left Killmonger alive. Like, imagine Michael B. Jordan in this movie.
Yeah.
That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah.
But obviously he's not. Maybe. Maybe.
And then I saved this one for last. Even though it's out of order, but it's fine. So the big, I suppose of all of these things, this was the big one, right?
That didn't have footage attached to it.
Daredevil, Born Again.
Just gives me chills just to hear that.
Is happening. It is 18 episodes, which has become a running joke in our friendship.
Yeah. 18 episodes. We sat through how many seasons of Arrow and Flash being 23 episodes, and now you want to question it? 18
episodes, though? So Charlie Cox is back. Vincent D'Onofrio is back. Yeah. And that's all we know right now. So it's 18 episodes, and those two are back. It's titled Born Again, but much like, I think, everything the MCU has done that is named a thing after a popular comic book storyline.
Just so people will watch it.
I don't think this will resemble the Born Again storyline because Daredevil Season 3 already kind of did it.
I think it's more metaphorical to Marvel.
It's absolutely metaphorical. Yeah, it's Spider-Man Homecoming.
Right, yeah, like this is like, he's
back.
He's back.
The man without fear.
I thought I was going to have more to say. It's
surreal.
I love this guy.
It's surreal. It's surreal that's a thing that happened.
Yeah. It just, you don't think like and I was watching
18 episodes though?
It's a lot, but I think what they're going to do, because what's 18 divided by 3?
9?
6.
6, sorry.
Wow.
Leave me alone.
This is why you're right. Don't do math. But how I think they're going to do it, I think they're going to do the 6-week format, but it's going to be 3 episodes per week. I think that's how they're going to... I was
thinking 2 max.
2 per week for 9 weeks?
Yeah.
That could be an option. I do think it's going to be multiple episodes a week. I don't think it's going to be one for just... What is it? If they do one, it's going to be 4+ months. That's a while to run a show, yeah. And again, this isn't going to be a show that I think is going to just be, cameos the show. No. Which, I mean, She-Hulk is the other side of that.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. But I do think that Daredevil is going to be more of... I just think it's going to be I'm talking the softest of soft reboots, but I just think it's just going to be more of a spiritual reboot, but it is going to just take the core elements from the show. If they're smart, in my opinion, that's what you do. I was watching it last night, I think I got through the first 3 episodes. That feel that you have, like, he feels like such a real hero versus everybody else. He feels so much more relatable. You feel his hits, but moreover, you feel his personal life so much. It's like, it's so normal. But then, obviously, we're going to see him in I jumped the gun, but we're going to see him in She-Hulk. But yeah, I couldn't be more excited. I think this is he's got one of the greatest, he's had some of the greatest writers write Daredevil. We've had one of the greatest movies with Daredevil 2003. Got him.
Nope.
Got him.
Nope.
How much money would they have to pay Ben Affleck to come back for Secret Wars?
$1 bajillion.
I hope they pay him every cent. Every cent. And bring Jon Favreau back
After everything he had to endure with Batman, no. It's not happening.
Have Jon Favreau Happy Hogan meet Jon Favreau Foggy Nelson.
Yeah, so...
The universe would explode.
Segueing to that, so I assume most of these people are going to be back, right?
I think so. Yeah, right. Because you don't lose John Bernthal. You just don't.
Yeah.
And then the characters of Daredevil specifically.
Is Wesley coming back?
He died.
Did he?
Yeah.
I mean, in Netflix he did.
Yeah.
But in this new Daredevil,
I just
is he
don't
dead?
think, as much as I love Wesley.
Bring him back.
Yeah. This man sat on the bench. This guy said, "Hey man, can you move?" And he just said a number, and I was like, "Oh shoot, this guy means business." He wears a suit in 80-degree weather.
Psychopath.
He is a psychopath. Those glasses have never been cleaner.
No, I'm really looking forward to this. I think
It's just he's back.
yeah, and he's all over the place.
Yeah,
now.
he is. So we got to talk about the Kevin Feige interview with, I believe it was comicbook.com, Brandon Davis from comicbook.com.
I was gonna mention this. Yeah.
So basically, just to summarize this, there's 3 levels, and I mean, I think we called what the 3 levels would be. There's the street level, and he said, and the first part is Daredevil is going to spearhead it, just because, again, when you talk about street level in comics, Daredevil's name comes up, but more importantly, he said Spider-Man and Daredevil are going to spearhead this, so that tells you what this new trilogy of Spider-Man's going to be.
Which is what we kind of said it was going to be. It's going to be more Spider-Man in New York doing New York stuff.
Yes. That's why that trilogy is so satisfying at the end of No Way Home.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Daredevil and Spider-Man are going to be the 2 kind of running things. I do think we're going to see all of those characters that we had show up.
Yeah,
including Danny Rand.
I think you might be right.
Yeah.
But
put him in Shang-Chi too. I'm telling you, give him a redemption.
I think the probably they showed Daredevil off in the She-Hulk trailer, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I think Jessica Jones is going to be in something coming up.
Oh, I think she's going to be in She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's going to be in She-Hulk, and I also think she's going to be in Daredevil as well.
Yeah.
Because 18 episodes is a lot, but now that's kind of jogging my memory to think like...
It's a lot for them.
Right, so that tells me they're going to try to do some stuff. Like, they're going to
I think they're going to use this Daredevil show as a foundational piece for whatever this street level thing is going to end up being.
Right.
So I think you might see Jessica Jones. I think you might see Luke Cage pop up.
Please, if we're going to do the soft reboot, please take him out as the owner of the club.
Yeah, I think anything goes. I think they can take whatever they want from the Netflix shows and throw out whatever they don't want.
Maybe they get the Heroes for Hire show off the ground if Danny's reappearance goes well.
I think She-Hulk is going to be the start of reingratiating these Netflix characters into the MCU.
Yeah.
I think that's really what this is going to be.
It's a good jumping off point, especially, and it's funny, just the kind of sitcom-esque nature of it kind of helps with that too.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it feels low stakes, but there is stakes. There's a lot more stakes than I thought there was.
Me too. We'll talk about that. So yeah, any more? I mean, I know you have more thoughts on Daredevil.
I could talk about Daredevil for hours on end.
We don't have hours. So
weeks? I don't need weeks.
So the next blocking is stuff that they saw that we didn't see, but we heard.
We quote unquote did not see.
We heard dictated to us through the internet.
Nobody leaked the footage, and we didn't watch it.
So
Kevin Feige would kill us, and we don't want that.
No,
we're an up and coming podcast. We don't need that.
He'd throw his baseball cap like Kung Lao.
I just think like he calls it like LeBron does in the Versus game, the multiverse game. LeBron is Thor. This doesn't mean people are gonna be so confused by this part. Play the multiverses game, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Free to play.
Free to play.
It's real fun.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. So I'll do these in reverse order because there's the big one at the end. So Guardians 3 was shown off. James Gunn was there. Chris Pratt. The whole cast was there besides Dave Bautista and Zoe Saldana, which is fine. Whatever.
Right.
And they showed off some footage and...
They were emotional.
Yeah. This movie's gonna hurt.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this. Outside of Daredevil Born Again, this is my most anticipated project of Phase 5.
Yeah. I mean, I think both of us have glowed about how we feel about particularly the first Guardians movie. But...
I mean, we agree. That's our favorite Marvel movie, right? That's my favorite Marvel movie.
It oscillates between Winter Soldier and that, but yeah.
It's so incredible. And it's James Gunn specifically, what he's able to... I mean, we've seen it in Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad, what he can do. He just takes characters that nobody knows and turns them into these,
The heart, man. The heart he puts into these characters is...
How did he make Peacemaker lovable?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And yeah, like you said, the cast was very emotional. The footage that they showed had a lot of undertones, kind of darker undertones.
Yeah, it's not even...
Adam Poulter was there?
Yeah.
Not Adam Poulter. Will Poulter.
Yeah, but
he's playing Adam Warlock.
Not even dark undertones, just somber undertones of like how like a family journey. Like this is what the Guardians are. They went from allies to friends to family to hopefully not forgotten family or lost family, which is essentially what this movie is going to be. But it's just this feels like it's going to be such a fitting end. They better let Will Poulter rhyme as Adam Warlock.
Do it.
Don't not do it. I definitely didn't see a leaked picture of what Will Poulter looks like as Adam Warlock, but if I were to see it, I would say it looks phenomenal.
I mean, I saw him on stage and he looks swole.
I don't know what that guy took, but he does not look like the guy from the Maze Runner anymore.
Nah.
They fixed the eyebrow problem?
Yep.
Not the eyebrow. I'm sorry, Will Poulter. That was a joke. I didn't mean that.
We there was one guy in particular that showed up in full costume. So Chuck Woody showed up as the High Evolutionary.
Yeah,
in character.
I think he a fan gave him something to sign. He just dropped it. I love it. I love it. Design looks cool. In the footage, we have him kind of reaching out his hand to take a baby rocket. Nah, I can't, man.
No, man.
This movie's gonna break me.
Yeah,
we're gonna get like emotionally wrecked multiple times within the next couple of the next year for Marvel. What are you doing to us?
We got to look at Secret Invasion. Mm-hmm. So Colby Smulders pulled up and she's like, "Yep, I'm in this."
Yeah, I mean, people are like, yeah,
"We know."
Yeah.
This is coming, I feel like, sooner than I thought it was.
Yeah, I heard they had to do a major reshoot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, based off of the Russian-Ukraine crisis, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this show is presented as a political like a very intense.
It's going to be like they likened it to Winter Soldier.
Yeah, but it's like they said it's like Winter Soldier, but like even more like anxiety inducing because it's not like. Obviously, they're still humans, but it's like anybody could just turn into a scroll at some point. Like, this is what makes it even more dangerous. Mm-hmm. So, I don't want to be that person that's like, you need to do what the comics do, but it just kind of stinks how they kind of, I don't know how this show's going to look. I did have like a theory that this show was going to be the culmination of all the Disney Plus shows into one, and like, that's what Secret Invasion's going to be. So you'll have like Kamala Khan, you'll have Sam Wilson, Captain America, like all those characters, kind of like Moon Knight, whatever. The Secret Invasion comic it's an event, like it's a very large event that it's massive. Like that's the thing that happened when it was there wasn't things happen like that was the thing that kind of changed the course of Marvel for a little bit was Secret Invasion. So I kind of wish how they presented it was. I thought what it was going to be just based on was Secret Invasion to Kang Dynasty to Secret Wars was going to be the new trilogy for the Avengers movies, but I guess not. It's a Disney Plus show. Sam Jackson's back.
Yeah, this is the Sam Jackson show. Yeah, basically.
Right. If the
Emilia Clarke is in this,
she playing Jessica Drew.
You've been saying that.
Yeah,
that's possible.
Yeah,
because you don't get Emilia Clarke and make her. Nothing.
I said the same thing about Anthony Ramos for Ironheart, that they said he's going to play like a classic Marvel character that's going to be in a bunch of like projects to go forward. Like you don't just get him to get him.
Right.
So that's my one thing is that she's Jessica Drew.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Let her be Spider-Woman.
Yeah. Yeah. Kit Harington's here.
Yeah, Kit Harington's here. Get the whole Game of Thrones. Get Eddie Munson in here. Get Joseph Quinn. He's just on top of the world right now.
Yeah, that guy's got a rocket strapped to his back right now.
Oh my gosh. He can't miss. Everything he does, people love.
Yeah, he even got released from immigration because he's so famous now.
Yeah. I don't like this immigration.
They're like, that's Eddie Munson. You get your hands off him.
God.
And then the last one we got was the first one that was shown, and that was for Ant-Man QuantumMania.
Yeah.
Some fun stuff seeming like it's coming out of that movie.
Yeah.
So we did get...
can we add Jonathan Majors to the...
absolutely.
I mean, he might just skyrocket to the top. He might battle with Andrew Garfield for the top.
Whoa.
I know that might make you upset, but...
So we did get some footage from Ant-Man QuantumMania, and Scott Lang's pretty famous now.
Yeah, I like it.
Me too.
It's like, it feels lived in, the fact that he's famous.
Catherine Newton is his new daughter. Mm-hmm. She's good. Yeah. I like her in things.
Yeah. So apparently the footage that we got, it was a trailer. So essentially how it opens, he's giving a little monologue. You find out it's at a book reading. So he wrote a book, and we found out from Miss Marvel that he has a podcast.
He's reading to kids.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. He's got a podcast. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Get him on call Scott Lang up, get him on the podcast.
Yeah. I don't know how much that's going to cost, but if you're listening, Paul Rudd, you know where to find us.
Yeah. Then we find out that he gets a phone call from prison, and it's Cassie's in prison.
She says something very interesting, though, because he's like, I know, like, it's the normal, because he went to jail. Like, I know, like, you're trying to do the right thing. And she's just like, we thought we were doing and you're like, what do you mean we?
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
So that presumes that she is indeed superheroing?
Mm-hmm. So she probably has what was the theory that people were saying? Like, because Scott had the radiation passed to her or whatever, so like she can naturally do it, not like she doesn't need a suit to do it.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But the other thing is she got a team.
The Young Avengers.
Yeah, is this like the start?
Maybe.
Yeah, because essentially Kate Bishop's down for anything. Yeah, if there's any type of superhero in Kate Bishop, be like, yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah,
that would be kind of cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah. So we'll see. Because where are they? They're in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Be a little bit of a long flight for Kamala Khan to go over there.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. It's all right. She's just not allowed to go to New York, but she can go to San Francisco.
Yeah, and
then it starts.
Yeah. We'll talk about it. So Jonathan Majors was promoted for this movie. This was his initial thing when he was announced for the MCU. This was he's going to be an Ant-Man as Kang the Conqueror, and everyone was like, "That's odd."
Yeah, that's odd. And then we didn't watch the trailer.
Nope.
But if we did watch the trailer, it feels way much more grand than the other. I mean, it feels like
this is proper.
Yeah,
proper Kang.
Yeah, like if you had gripes about even Doctor Strange, like the scope, like this feels like the scope that they were talking about. This feels like proper Kang. I mean, I know Jonathan Majors had to get in impeccable shape because he's playing the antagonist in Creed 3, which is just cool. And have you seen the set photo? He looks like an action figure. It's insane. So even his face looks more defined now. But it's just his the little mannerism switches are so good because I don't know if this is Kang Prime, and we're going to talk about it when we get to the very end and talk about Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, because I do think what the whole goal is to find Kang Prime, or Kang Prime's going to be the one that's doing all of this, because but again, I don't know if this is Kang Prime, because he said it in the Loki show, and I'm glad I just watched the sizzle reel, he said it I've lived a million lifetimes, and then he says it at the end of the trailer. Scott says, I'm an Avenger. He's probably feeling pretty confident. And again, it's what I think Phase 4 is. Phase 4 is Fallout and Legacy. Those are the two big things, for my opinion, is what Phase 4 is. It's mantle passing, and it's the fallout of the Infinity Saga. So what I think it's obviously Scott has a little bit of hubris, and he's feeling good. I helped beat Thanos. I'm feeling good. He's I killed you before. He understands, they're not a problem to him. There's no issue, there's no problem. I can take any of you out. I do think this is going to be the demise of Scott Lang's Ant-Man. I do think that this is going to be possibly the last time we see Paul Rudd.
Oof.
Do think that he will die in this movie. Yeah.
I don't think he can Paul Rudd.
Can you not? Would it not be super emotional if you do?
It would be, but nah. He'll find a way out of there.
They're gonna kill Evangeline Lilly?
They might.
I don't want to get into it.
They might kill Michael Douglas.
There's just nothing on paper that Michael Douglas has done, but Michelle Pfeiffer's in. I forgot Michelle Pfeiffer's Janet Van Dyne.
Yep. Bill Murray's also in this.
Yeah.
MODOK is also in this.
Yeah, so the rumor for MODOK is that it's Darren Cross from the original Ant-Man movie. Obviously he was just crunched into oblivion, so essentially he got mutated and turned into MODOK, and Kang found him, and it's just you want to be my friend?
You want to be MODOK?
You want to be MODOK?
Am I going to look cool?
Yeah. He's yeah, sure. To an extent.
Yeah.
Yeah. He probably gave the dating line, there's a lid for every pot. He's all right.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah.
That Kang line.
Oh, the way he walks up is just so
The way he what?
The way he walks up.
Not that we've seen it.
Oh! No! We haven't seen it. We weren't at Hall H. How can we see it? Is that a red dot on my chest? So yeah, he hypothetically, he looks absolutely, he doesn't have the blue.
No.
But it's more of a covering versus an actual
Yeah, but he's got the gear.
He's got the gear. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he's got the Kang get up.
Yep.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Oh my gosh, Jonathan made. Well, I mean, I talked like I said this is like for myself, but like back when he like the first thing I've ever seen him in was Last Black Man in San Francisco, and then he followed that up with Lovecraft Country. And I mean, you want to talk about one of the just nuclear energy casts of anything, Lovecraft Country, Journey Smollett and him. But I don't know why I just get this feeling like Jonathan Majors is like a generational talent that we're like witnessing as it's happening. Like,
yeah,
that's how I feel about him and just anything that he does.
And even like Kevin Feige came out and said that like there's no one I trust more to carry this this multiverse saga than Jonathan Majors.
I gotta imagine his auditions were just so like blowing away that it was like they probably weren't even expecting, because like there are bigger named, like I do think that obviously being Kang and being like as popular as Marvel is now, that like being Kang the Conqueror is going to help that, being like the new Thanos of this is going to help that, but it's something about Jonathan Majors that's like so, I don't know how to put my finger on it. It's like he is so grand and like scale, but like there's just this like relatable quality to him I just can't explain. Like so again, it's like the whole multiverse thing. Like and Kevin Feige said like he's gonna place over the next 3 years. He's gonna play so many different I think Jonathan, he's just gonna pop up in everything. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he just pops up in like Moon Knight season 2 if they take a flashback to ancient Egypt. Like he's there. Like he's Ramatut there. Like somebody made a point. Like if he's like what if he's like in Blade? Like just making things happen. Like, things are just being coerced to get to the where
it's
they
a different type of thing than what Thanos presented.
It's really interesting, because Thanos was like clear and present danger and things were moving in the background. Like, for Kang, things are moving in the background of the background. Like, you can't...
throughout all time.
Yeah, and like, there's something that's so like, again, that's the Secret Wars thing, the 2015 Secret Wars thing. Like,
he's a quiet menace.
Right, like, there's something so just disheartening about... There's nothing you can do. And I think that's what this is all gonna, like, there's nothing, like, you're, like, I don't care who you fought, I don't care if you defeat, there's nothing you can, like, time will always happen. You can stop a guy that's trying to acquire infinite power, but, like, I have the infinite power of infinite power. Like, I have the ability to, like, manipulate time like you can't do anything. I could just erase you if I wanted to.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
And then we got a pair of trailers, official trailers released to the internet. The first of which is She-Hulk. Looks fun.
I did not expect that trailer to be the way it was.
God, it looks so fun.
So this is being presented as a sitcom-esque Marvel show, and cool. Backdrop is you're Jennifer Walters. You're having fun. You're in your 30s. You're 30, flirty, and thriving.
Yeah.
You 13 and going on 30, and yeah, cool. She's She-Hulk. Bruce Banner's in the show. He's teaching her about balance, and she's really good at it already. And she's just like, you know what? I'm going to go back out into the world. Then they break the fourth wall, and I was like, this is good. Cool.
They did the fourth wall break, and I was like, yes.
And it was like it wasn't a cheap one. It was a good one.
Yeah, it was a really good one. Yeah. When he goes, you can go back to practicing law, and she just turns and she goes, he doesn't mean that. Yeah. And then they both were like, what?
Yeah, he's like, what? She's like,
like, who are you talking to?
And then Wong just shows up, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then characters just started showing up, and I'm like, hold on. It's like the one meme of the girl, and she's like, hold on, like, calm down.
So Wong is in this.
Yeah, Wong's in this, and he's leading this. He's Nick Fury now.
He has to be.
And I mean,
he's come up in too many places.
But I mean, to get on a more serious note, he's seen, ever since Multiverse of Madness too, like, he's seen some stuff. Like, he's probably trying to get the timeline, not the timeline specifically, but like the world and the universe itself, like, back under order. Because like,
he's the Sorcerer Supreme.
Right, like, he was a couple seconds away from the Scarlet Witch destroying and taking everything over. So like, he's probably on like high alert, like, we need to take care of this immediately. If this means I train Emil Blonsky, and like, he probably wants he wants Defenders of the Earth. Like, that's probably what he wants.
That's the plot of the show, is that her big case is that she has to defend Abomination from his presumed super crimes.
Right.
And she's like, there's a conflict of interest, and he tried to kill my cousin. And the guy's just like, whatever.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
We don't care.
So yeah, Wong is in this.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And then this is, what did I say? This is the most Marvel trailer I've ever seen that from this Disney Plus shows. Like, in terms of like references and like this is what I think people were talking about when they wanted the MCU to be lived in. Like, this feels most akin to like a comic story.
There's
like,
just super people just all over the place.
Yeah, just popping up, and like that's another through line of the show is like they're everywhere. Like the judge is one. Like Titania just breaks through the wall. Like, I do like the fact that this is presented as like a comedy, so it's like we can look at it through that lens of like it's just kind of funny that these just characters are just showing up everywhere.
I mean, the only thing that people, not me, but people are not a fan of is what this is doing to the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. And, you know, what I thought was an interesting through line of this is the quiet kind of jealousy.
Yeah.
Is very interesting to me.
Yeah. Because
what you have to remember is, Banner figured out how to merge himself with the Hulk, but the Hulk is still in there.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think I do think this is going to culminate to there was a massive rumor that's been floating around that this is going to, Hulk's storyline is going to, like, that we always say it, just wait. Like, we said it for Spider-Man's arc, and yet, just wait.
I think him constantly getting one-upped by She-Hulk is going to culminate in Hulk being like, enough.
Yeah.
Enough, Banner.
Who are you? Like, you're not the incredible, like, you're the immortal Hulk. Like, you are...
I think that...
You're that guy.
That's my big kind of theory.
Yeah, and I think the Hulk's also going to not like... As much as the show's a comedy, I don't think the Hulk's going to like as much of a joke as he thinks that he's being presented as. Like, the last thing he probably remembers is being just...
Obliterated by Thanos?
But yeah, like... You were the most powerful being. Like, you and Thor used to, like, who's more, like, it's me. Like, I'm the strongest.
He fought a giant wolf.
Right. And he won.
He beat that giant wolf. And then he went to fight Surtur.
Yeah. And he was giving Surtur the business for a little bit.
That was Destroyer Surtur.
Right. That just, like, that's the size of the Empire State Building. And just was punching him, and it's
the size of a mountain.
Yeah. It's a crown. So yeah, cool.
I think that's my big theory piece is this is going to lead to the Hulk coming back as full Hulk.
Yeah, and I think what Civil War was to Phase 3 is what World War Hulk is going to be to Phase 6. Like, I think it's going to be a bigger crossover event that's going to upend the like. Funny, like, right before Kang's like, all right, I'm gonna do it, like, I'm finally feeling comfortable doing this, like,
then the Hulk shows up.
What if I'm to give a theory, like, to kind of cross things over, what if this is the case? So essentially the Kang Dynasty, Kang War storyline is like him and his son come back and they're just like, we're taking over, but you find out like they're doing it to save the Earth. Like, they're not just doing it because they want to, like,
what if they're doing it to stop the Hulk?
Right, like, what if that's the thing that, like, because it goes to the Al Ewing run, like the famous Al Ewing run that came out over the last 3 years. Like, what if the Hulk's like what he's like prophesized to be the one that's going to survive this universe into the next one? Like, he's the one that's going to be there. Like, what if Hulk gets to that point where he's just like, he's literally walking, leaking radiation, like, he's just that powerful where he needs to be put down.
And you thought She-Hulk was just going to be a fun little comedy.
Yeah, it still is.
It still is, but I think there could be more to the Hulk bit
storyline
than just him being comic relief. Because they do make a point in that trailer of showing him constantly being one-upped. And even he says in the trailer, am I feeling jealousy? Is that what I'm feeling? I think there could be an end stinger where the Hulk fully returns.
Yeah. And I'm talking, like, more powerful than he has ever been.
And the Hulk's like, enough.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I could see him, maybe they pay off the Sakaar, like, comic stuff. Like, he does go back to Sakaar. Like, he conquers Sakaar, and he's just like, I'm gonna go back to Earth, and I'm gonna show them who the Incredible, like, and it's, again, like, the darker elements of his story up until Age of Ultron of, like, he's the monster to them. Like, even though he helped them save the world in the first Avengers movie, like, Age of Ultron, his whole story was, like, it's the battle between him and Groot, like, how much, like, he can't have kids, he can't do all those things because of, like, who the Hulk is. Like, all those people that are saying they butchered the Hulk, like, again, it's a story arc, it's not just a story beat that happens. Like, I do think he's gonna come back. Like, it's gonna be, I think
so too.
And like, if you thought Wanda was like an issue, which I still think they're like equal, but it's just a physical strength thing. Like, guy walks and is just breaking city blocks. Like, that's what I want to get to.
And then the last bit of this, the Daredevil's in it.
Got the yellow and red suit.
Yellow and red suit. Yeah. Got the sticks. Does a front flip.
Yeah.
Little somersault. And he's like, hello, I'm Daredevil. Mm-hmm. You know me from Netflix's Daredevil.
From Spider-Man's No Way Home.
So, that's fun.
Yeah.
we didn't know Charlie Cox was going to be in this.
No, there was the rumor that he was going to be in it. But
we knew he was going to be in Echo.
Yeah.
But we didn't know he was going to be in this.
Right. I think the rumor for this show is that he was looking for Jessica Jones, but this just makes it feel a whole lot more real that that's the case.
Yeah.
So he's got the yellow and red suit, which again, I think...
It looks like the Netflix suit, kind of, but just yellow and red.
Somebody made a fantastic point. If it is a soft reboot, but they do bring elements, the last thing that I remember is Bullseye just killing people in that suit. So he's like, maybe I want... It's what Green Arrow did from season 3 to season 4.
Yeah.
Cut the sleeves off. I'm not the same guy, even though we have the same facial features and everything.
Yeah.
You're Robert Queen's son, aren't you?
What?
What?
No. So yeah, Daredevil's in this.
Yeah.
Fun.
Cool.
This show looks great.
Yeah. Feels so comic booky.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. And then... Man,
maybe we should have ended with this.
No, we can't end with this.
Yeah.
The Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer. We had the cast on stage. We had Ryan Coogler on stage, gave an incredible tribute to Chadwick Boseman on stage. If you can find that video online, I suggest you do so, because it reminds me of how good a director Ryan Coogler is.
And how much he understands his team that he works with. Yeah,
you've heard the cast talk about, in scripting, you have your number one, and they didn't cast the number one for this movie because, it was Chadwick. That was Chadwick's spot. Man, yeah, this movie has such an emotional backdrop behind it. You could see it in the cast, the way they talked, the way they spoke, especially the original Black Panther cast that were there. We talked about, how great the new cast were in understanding kind of the undertaking that they were all about to embark on. As much as, there's been some rumors and controversy surrounding this movie, particularly around Letitia Wright. But, this is that moment on stage is when you realize that honestly, none of that matters.
No, it doesn't. It does not. And I there was a little piece of me that didn't even we can even just briefly talk about all the. I don't even want to. We can touch on Namor. We can touch on what the story could be. I just don't think that's the. It is the point, but it's just.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit.
Doesn't matter as much.
This is what this is going to be.
Yeah,
and it is going to further the story of the MCU at large. But this is a love letter to Chadwick Boseman. That's what this movie is ultimately going to be, and I don't think it needs to be looked at as anything more than that. We can put I feel like for this movie we can put the fandom aside and just celebrate the life of this man.
There's such this beauty behind this trailer, and that's another thing for Chadwick Boseman.
It opens.
There's such this beauty to that man, and it's just who he was as a person. You can feel it in this trailer, He was one of the goods of this world. He just really was. And even though I think we talked about it, even though he passed away, you talk about legacy, what a legacy to leave on the world. And you were playing such these prominent black figures and look what you've done. If there was any footprint to leave on the world, he'd probably, in terms of an entertainer, I mean, it's gotta be one of the greatest that's ever been left for us. So.
It's an unbelievable run.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, trailer is magnificent. The way it opens with the music, the song, I mean, the soundtrack, the prologue soundtrack has already been released. I mean, the Black Panther album from the first movie was curated by Kendrick Lamar, and that soundtrack is so widely celebrated that they were going to do something special for this. So the prologue soundtrack has been released along with that just absolutely mesmerizing song from the trailer. We get, we do get a good look at Namor. We get some looks at Shuri. We get looks at Nakia, Okoye, and M'Baku. They're all back doing stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's just run through it real quick, because the story looks like it revolves around it's the Atlanteans versus the Wakandans. Namor and Black Panther they got a really rich history of just not liking each other. They just don't. And there's precedence to it. I mean, the main thing is that Namor, once he got imbued with the Phoenix Force, sunk Wakanda, and it looks like they're going to do it unless you see some shots of kind of the royal palace kind of being flooded. So we'll see how big of a deal. I mean, obviously it's going to be a huge deal, but again, I think this is going to culminate in an Atlantean war, but it's just what kings do for you. I think that's what the story is going to be. So who takes the mantle of Black Panther? I don't even feel like talking about it. Could be Shuri.
Yeah, we do see at the end of the trailer there is a Black Panther suited up, and yeah,
could be Nakia, could be who cares?
Yeah.
It's not who cares, but I just don't think this is what this trailer was focused on. It's just, especially when Angela Bassett launches into that monologue piece, I was okay until she started talking, and I was like, nope, she's not okay.
I'm the queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and I've lost my entire family.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. Namor looks phenomenal. Really like, and another thing, Tenoch Huerta talked about representation at Comic-Con too, in a really, really powerful piece. He said, I'm from the hood of Mexico, and look what me being in this, just as they did in 2018 when this movie was released, is like what I could do for kids that looked like me growing up. Like, so many people are going to get so much more opportunity for me being in this, and this goes to the Marvel team and Ryan Coogler. So like, that's what's important about this.
They changed the origin of the character also from not being from Atlantis.
Yeah. So I know it has to do with what is it? Either Aztec or Mayan culture.
Yep.
And we see Namor. He's what is he? I think he's a half breed. So he's half human, half whatever the new origin land is from. So he looks great. Looks like, I mean, he's got the winged feet, so it looks like he's going to be a mutant as well.
Yep.
So that's going to be cool. So man,
this movie is going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, the production value feels high. Like, it feels like this was handled with such a level like of care. As it should,
and I mean,
which is needed to be.
We've talked about Ryan Coogler in the past. I mean, I think I said it when we talked about Black Panther. I think he's one of the best young directors in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. It's just he has not been directing much lately because
this is the focus. This is the main focus.
People are going to be reminded of how unbelievable a talent he is as a director.
Yeah, I think what his main ability, in my opinion, is this man can pull emotion out of anything.
He's only 36.
Only 36.
He's 36.
Wild. Absolutely wild.
And when you look at his resume of things that he's done.
What was he, 24 or 25 when Fruitvale Station came out?
Yeah.
Like, he was around my age when he made one of the most, heart-wrenching movies of that year. And just
it's unbelievable.
Yeah. And he had an insurmountable task, but they made it possible.
He's had a few insurmountable tasks. Yes. I mean, when you considered Creed also.
Yeah, Creed was one of the most precious legacy projects that were not to be touched, and he made it work.
Brought almost an Oscar-winning performance out of Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, he did, and he got an Academy Award out of him.
Yep.
So, man, I haven't watched Black Panther since. Like, I can't, because, I mean, I talked about it on here, like, how personal Chadwick Boseman, even without Black Panther, was to me. Like, he was my favorite actor up until that point, and this was, like, when he was cast. It was, like, before. Yeah. But this homage is just going to be just absolutely beautiful. There's going to be tears in the theater, and rightfully so. And like I said, just what a beautiful way to pay tribute to one of the best people to come out of Hollywood.
Yeah. Oh man, that movie comes out in 4 months, a little less than 4 months from now, and it's going to be a real tough time for so many people. But the last thing that we held on to was the Phase 6 reveal.
I did not think Phase 6 was even going to be.
So obviously this is not the complete Phase 6.
Yeah, there was like,
because there's 3 projects announced.
There was like 9 or 10 projects that were just blank, but they were like spots filled in there.
Yeah. So Fantastic Four is going to be the first project of Phase 6. We don't know. We still don't know anything about that movie. I suspect we may get something at D23.
I think even if we don't get I think we're going to know who's going to direct that movie. Because
it was John Watts.
Yeah, and now we know who the director of Kang Dynasty is going to be, so I do think we're going to know because I think Fantastic Four is going to be such like a... I could see
whoever directs Fantastic Four directing Secret Wars.
I would agree with you. It wouldn't be Spielberg. They couldn't do that. I mean, Spielberg did Ready Player One, right?
He did. Yeah.
That's a pretty big movie that had to deal with like fandom and the idea of like virtual world.
Yeah. So I think that direction is going to be married. Is why
that's a really good.
Is why they saved. I think that's why they saved it.
And interestingly enough, like how,
because why would you just announce the director of the middle one, but not the first one and the third one?
Yeah.
Because I think it's strategic that he said Fantastic Four two Avengers movies, because I think those three movies are going to be married to each other.
Well, I mean, we already, when we were kind of informing, like, the people on, like, how Secret Wars comes about, like, Secret Wars dates back to the Jonathan Hickman Fantastic Four. Like, this whole story is Reed Richards versus Doctor Doom. Like, that's, but I think it's going to be a little bit more personal if they add Kang into the mix, because of the fact that Kang is a descendant of Reed Richards, and I think they're going to play that even more for this. It
was strategic that these three were announced as the Phase 6 projects. So we don't know a ton about the Fantastic Four. We just know that it's going to be the kickoff of Phase 6.
Yeah.
And then the big reveal was we are getting 2 Avengers films in 2025.
Not only 2 Avengers movies, within 5 months of each other.
Once again, I can't stress this enough. I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
People were like, oh my god, they're doing 2 Avengers movies in 1 year. I'm like, relax.
Yeah.
One, if not both of these, is going to get pushed back. Yeah. So the first one is Avengers Kang Dynasty, which I don't think there was a leak. I mean, it was a rumor that turned out to be a leak of what was being trademarked leading up to Comic-Con.
Yeah, and I mean, they were all, it was
all of these.
Yeah, it was New World Order, it was
Kang Dynasty, and it was Secret Wars. So Kang Dynasty is the first Avengers film, that will be the first Avengers film since Avengers Endgame. So what was that, 2019? So it'll be 6 years up from the last Avengers
Somebody
movie.
made an insane thing that I just thought about. We're closer to Kang Dynasty than we were to, as of today, from the release date of Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, and was announced earlier today that Destin Daniel Cretton, as you said, from Shang-Chi, is going to be spearheading the Kang Dynasty film. And
so that happened, and I was like, remember before when we were like, what were those rings doing? My theory 180'd itself, because I think now this has to do something with that versus something with, because I thought they were just, calling Fing Fang Foom, he was going to come be the villain of Shang-Chi 2, cool, it's over. But now it got me a little bit more,
because you have to assume that there is some type of something there that he was selected.
Yeah, I do want to think that he was selected just because
he's great.
Yeah, remember what I told you before we hopped on? He had one of the most forgivable CGI third act. Like, you know how invested I was watching Shang-Chi like run along like a CGI dragon and like destroy like a giant like bat creature.
And I think we both talked about that. It's the best Phase 4 movie.
Oh, I agree with that. I'm subscribed to that notion. I love Spider-Man No Way Home. I think it's great. I still think Loki's the best property in my opinion that we've gotten out of Phase 4, but Shang-Chi, it's got undeniable power.
Yeah, so I would assume, like I said, they announced this very strategically, that he's doing this one, and then no director for Fantastic Four, and no director for the other Avengers film that will be released in the same year, asterisk.
Yeah.
Which, to the surprise of, I guess, some people, but the surprise of definitely not you or I, that Avengers Secret Wars is the second Avengers film.
Right, yeah. Well, I told you, I think they're gonna split it, and like they're gonna do the Infinity War thing and then do the Endgame thing where like one's gonna be like a comic name and the other one's not. Like, I think the last Avengers movie that we're gonna get, because I don't know how long they can keep this thing going for. Like, they can keep this thing going for another 10, like, it's just like 25 years of like continuous. It's just a nuts thing. But like, we're all like, by the time 2025 comes out, we're gonna be what, 20?
I don't want to talk about it.
We're gonna be what, 17 years into this thing. So I do think that they're gonna split Secret Wars into a part 1 and part 2, and I do think that the last Avengers movie is gonna be called Avengers Forever.
Yeah.
So I do think it's gonna be like Secret Wars, Avengers Forever. But Mr. Nathaniel Richards is that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing that needs to be talked about.
Yep.
Whether it be, well, what I told you, what I think is going to happen, because there was just a big chunk in between, because what they said Fantastic Four is February and then it's May. So there's that chunk, but there were spaces in that chunk, like,
which are assumably are Disney Plus projects.
Right. And maybe some other movie, because I do think the Young Avengers movie is going to be in there, like in between that time, because of, again, Nathaniel, like the younger version of Nathaniel Richards.
And again, this stuff is probably getting delayed.
Yeah, because they don't care about their visual effects artists.
So
and these movies need that.
Yeah.
But I do think that what we're going to see is Fantastic Four is going to happen. The way I think that because this changes my whole perspective on Fantastic Four, because now Fantastic Four doesn't have room to breathe.
No.
What I think is going to happen is the version of the Fantastic Four we're going to see is going to be a full-fledged version of themselves that got displaced from the timeline of the MCU that were supposed to always be there from, like, when Iron Man was there.
I think that's entirely possible.
Yeah, like, this team was, like, that's why I do think, like, I guess my John Krasinski, like, theory, like, kind of gets put back in now because it was so out, but then this happened. I was like, okay, so maybe he could be like Reed Richards now. So what I do think it's going to happen, whoever the other three are, cool. What I think it is like this team is going to be taken out by Kang for a reason because Reed Richards figured it out, the way to kind of defeat him. And he's like, I can't have you in the timeline. So the Kang Prime that we'll see Jonathan Majors takes them out of the timeline, puts them in the negative zone. And they're just like, all right, that's why we've never heard of the Fantastic Four. Like, he plucked them from the timeline, put them in, like, a safe space, and then they find a way to break out and be like, yeah, we were supposed to be there the entire, like, we would have helped you with we would have helped you with all these, but we couldn't. We were trapped this whole time.
Also, Leo's credits to that theory is, if you go back to Loki, and He Who Remains, he said he's carefully curated this one singular timeline. And what does this one singular timeline not have? Fantastic Four. Until the multiverse is broken open and you see Reed Richards in Multiverse of Madness. So now you have Kang being like, oh, shoot.
Yeah, because, like, who's the one, he's going to son him, like, who's the one person that could possibly spark, like, my great whatever grandfathers could be the only one that could possibly upend me.
Yep.
So I do think, like, he's probably taking characters like his son, like, Franklin can't be there, like, Valerius, smarter than all of us, like, but even too, like, Doctor Doom 2 can't be here for any of this. Like, they just can't because they will undo. Like, I think Kang's whole thing is going to be this ideal of, like, perfection. Like, this one knit path that needs to be stayed on. And, like, Reed Richards, he's intrinsically, like, an explorer. Like, that's his thing. Like, I think what's going to happen is, like, what we're going to see is, like, whatever storyline takes place, like, that would be a really cool way to think about it. Like, what if this movie is, like, you hear things about the MCU as it happened, but the Fantastic Four were there. It's like their own story and people aren't going to show up, but, like, it is in the MCU and you're like, what the heck? Because they weren't in any of these things. There's just, like, the post-credit scenes, like, Kang's like, nah, Reed Richards just found a way for teleportation time. I just can't have you running around like, see you later, granddad. Like,
I think that's a really interesting theory.
I didn't hear that from anything. Like, that's just something I just came up with right now.
That's really interesting. I really like that a lot because, like I said,
this is the part you got to clip.
It's not an accident. It's not an accident that of the Phase 6 projects, these three were the ones that were announced.
Because you remember before this was like 2019 Comic-Con. The theory was that the Fantastic Four, like, the movie would take place in the 60s, just like Captain Marvel, and, like, something would happen and they would get, like, lost in space and, like, but they wouldn't age and then they would come back. But this one feels cool, like, that they were supposed to be here the whole time.
It seems pretty obvious that Fantastic Four, Kang Dynasty, and Secret Wars are all married to each other.
Yeah.
In particular, Fantastic Four and Secret Wars are going to be married to each other. Yeah. And like I said, I do think the director will direct both, whoever that director may be.
You have any, like... I said one, but it's just, they just would never do something like this.
I don't know. I really don't know.
It's just, this is such a... I do think you need, like, you're going to probably need it, because
Kevin Feige has already ruled out the Russo brothers.
Yeah. Which
is fine.
And I don't know how much I believe that. I 100% in my heart of hearts believe that they could be like, oh, we were just kidding. We're going to do this. Because I do think you need a team, or maybe you don't, but this is going to...
I don't think you need a team per se, but I think you may need something that you got with Infinity War. Where the Russo brothers were directing it, but you had Taika, Ryan Coogler, Jon Favreau.
And moreover, James Gunn, because of how much the Guardians had to deal with.
Yeah, so I could see something like that, potentially.
Like a team, yeah.
Yeah. There was an idea.
Yeah, to bring together all the Marvel directors.
But
are they not going to let Taika Waititi in there? They're going to be like, we got to take this seriously, man.
I can't even begin to speculate.
Yeah. But there's one thing...
Nolan.
Do you understand? If you... Because what's Christopher Nolan's thing? It's time. Imagine if they gave Christopher Nolan Secret Wars to do. that would be the single most divisive movie that's ever been released in human history. There would be people that would be calling it the greatest film that's ever been released. Some people would call for his head. Now that makes me even more interested, and I want that to happen. I don't know, I kind of feel like they're gonna get a big director to do this, because like Kevin Feige directs it.
Oh God, people would not want that at all.
No. Oh man, but all right. So here's the thing. Here's the X-Men elephant in the room.
Josh Trank, get Josh Trank back.
Get Brett Ratner to do.
No, we can't do that.
So maybe we should list this as like the directors that can't direct this movie. Roland Emmerich. No, actually, wait a second. Wait a minute. Because Secret Wars is like the destruction of the multiverse. That's Roland Emmerich's thing.
That's his bag.
That's right up his actually.
What's better than destroying the Earth? Destroying the universe.
Yeah. He already got the moon. He got the Earth multiple times. Get the multiverse this time. Roland Emmerich, you menace. I love it.
Oh.
Michael Bay.
Stop it.
Yeah, this could just.
We're going off the rails.
Yeah. Is this the longest episode we've done so far?
Actually, no.
Is it not?
It's gonna be by the time we wrap it up.
That's what I'm talking about.
But as of now, no. I think our Stranger Things episode is actually the longest one we did.
Because we talked about Eddie Munson for an hour? By himself? Okay, so the X-Men elephant in the room. So, before I even heard this, I feel like I told you. I was like, so the thing that came out today is the reason we haven't seen any new X-Men characters, and like the way they've been, even Kamala Khan being like, they didn't say she was a mutant. Bruno just said he had a mutation in her genes.
And then they played the theme song.
Yeah, that's a bait and switch in my opinion, because we already talked about it. I do think that she's going to end up as an Inhuman. So a report came out today is the reason they can't do this is because that contractually the way the deal happened is that they weren't allowed to introduce any new characters into the MCU until 2025.
New actors.
Right.
With existing characters.
Correct. So that's why, who's the only two characters we're going to see that came from before?
Patrick Stewart is Professor X.
Right.
Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool.
Exactly. And it's still fitting that they put Logan just in case for the Secret Wars movie.
Yep.
They want to put Hugh Jackman in here. So what I think is the case is, I think Secret Wars was going to happen like closer to 2028 to 2030. But I think, I always say it, for comics, for people that read comics, they know. The Avengers, they're cool, but they're not the X-Men. Like, that was their bread and butter. The X-Men and the Fantastic Four was the thing. So,
and Spider-Man.
It's Spider-Man, right. Well, yeah. That's like a 1A situation. Like, that's the guy. But what I think is happening is that they're going to play it on both. They're going to play it. Like, so for the metaphysical stuff, like the real world stuff, like, they're going to expedite the Secret Wars process. And, like, we're going to find out the movie version of it is going to be like, that's another thing Kang kept from the timeline was the X gene from the timeline. He kept it dormant. Like, so that's something that didn't run rampant because he probably was afraid of characters like if Wanda was a mutant on top of that, like characters like Professor X, characters like Franklin Richards, like those characters, like these cosmic level like mutants that were just running in it, like that's an imperfection. So I do think that's something he kept, and like by the end of Secret Wars, it's going to culminate back into one universe, like because that's what Secret Wars. That's what happens. Like it gets back. I think what is it? Just 616, and I think 1610 or something like that. Like, I do think that 616 is going to be the only universe that's left.
Yep.
But then reality's going to get rewritten, so the Fantastic Four are back from the original time. Like, and then the X gene's going to happen, so that way we can have the fact that, like, you know, Magneto is a Holocaust survivor. They're all, like, older. Like, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. And, you know, just tying into that, the contractual stuff, what year does that end?
2025.
When does Avengers Secret Wars come out?
End of 2025.
Bingo.
Yep. Makes so much sense why they expedited. Because essentially what you think Secret Wars would have been was like, because people were saying like, oh, you got to make sure we get all the X-Men movies ready for this. But now it makes sense. Like, it feels like this multiversal saga is short. This thing is only, what, 2020 to 2025? That's 5 years. We were dealing with 11 years for the Infinity Saga. And like, arguably, that's like a smaller scale threat to deal with than this.
Yep.
So it's kind of minuscule if you talk about the grand calculus of the multiverse, as Doctor Strange would say. But yeah, that's how I'm feeling. Is that
I think you're right. I think you're on it.
I'm on fire today. I'm not gonna lie. This is awesome.
This guy's heating up.
Yeah, feel like Steph right now. Can't miss.
No, I think that's an extremely good call, especially after that report came out today about the contractual litigation behind what's going on with the X-Men, and now it's starting to line up. 2025 is the expiration date.
And and another like more, I guess not nihilistic, but a little sadder note is like they probably don't want to lose some of these actors too, because it's not like Patrick Stewart's not young, Ian McKellen's not young, like, and accidents and illnesses can befall some people, so they probably want to get to the big crossover. Like what you thought Doctor Strange was going to be is probably what Secret Wars is going to be.
Yeah,
get Ben Affleck back. But yeah, like I do like. Cool, Ewan Griffin. Like they're gonna pull the Johnny Storm bait and switch with Chris Evans. Like,
I would almost count on Hugh Jackman coming back.
Oh, as Wolverine, yeah. For that, I think that's what he's like. He's like, I don't want to get in shape just yet, but I'll do it. Just give me a little time.
I would
have him in the suit. If you're gonna do it, get him in the suit.
I mean, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire would probably be shoo-ins.
I don't have an and if or but if they're gonna be in it. Yeah. Somebody said, like, because I do think they're going to mix the 84 with the 2015 Secret Wars a little bit, and then Kang is going to kind of take Doctor Doom's place.
Yeah.
I hope Doctor Strange says in the movie, we're in the Secret War now. And that's just his thing for any Avengers movie. But yeah, it's, oh man, this is like nerd heaven. This is it. This is it.
People were always like, what's the direction? And we were like, it's Secret Wars.
Yeah. So the phase, because we didn't get to the Phase 4 thing. We said we were always going to talk. Like I said, Phase 4 is Fallout. Like the Infinity Saga was such, like, people's lives were upended for 5. Like, this is what it is. It's the Fallout, and then it's
the recovery.
Yeah, and I always go back to that Vision line from Civil War. Like, ever since Iron Man came, heroes have grown in an exponential. What's up?
Ayo?
Come on, man. We had a good thing. Don't ruin a good moment.
Go ahead.
But ever since all the heroes arrived, ever since Iron Man arrived, all the, like, at a commencing, like, heroes keep popping up. Like, that's what
heroes and villains.
Yeah, super powered people keep popping up, and people with abilities and the mental capacity to make abilities and make suits, like, they keep popping up. Like, that's what like, that, not, obviously, there's stuff that happened in the past, and Odin's, like, Billy, like, whatever, but, like, that's the thing on Earth that kind of got everything started. Then you get into the Eternal, I'm getting real comic book, you get into the Eternals aspect of it, like, the Celestials made it so that was a thing.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to get into it, like, that's how Kang's more powerful than the Celestials, for the fact that, like, he was able to stop them having the idea of, like, making sure humanity got along for Tiamat to be, but also curated, like, humanity to have the ability to have powers, because that's the thing from the comics. Like, Kang was able to, like, stick that. Like, that's how much of a threat they're dealing with.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Now we know.
Yeah.
We got a 3-year timeline to work with, and keeps the stuff coming down the road.
Oh, that World War Hulk thing is going to be cool if they do that, because that's going to shut people right up about the Hulk. I think it's possible.
It's just something that stuck out to me in the trailer.
Yeah, and it's funny, like,
because they kept showing him getting one-upped, and then that line where he's like, am I feeling jealousy? And to me, that line works 2 ways.
Right. It
works as, like, him being unfamiliar, but also potentially it could be Hulk within him making him feel that way, and him not realizing that.
Yeah, because Bruce doesn't really care about any of that stuff, you would think.
Right.
But Hulk probably, because Hulk holds on to his to the stuff that happened with him and his father. That's like the Eric Bana Hulk type of stuff, and like the comic thing of, like, his father, like, abused, like, so Hulk holds on to all that stuff. Like, so Hulk's mind is more immature than Bruce's mind. Like, that's why like, you see it in Ragnarok, especially, like, how childish, like, Hulk essentially is.
Yeah.
So, like, Hulk would hold on to those things and want to, like, feel things that he can't control because he's a child, essentially. And, like, you don't want a child to get infinite power like that.
Just saying, watch the Hulk closely.
Well, I mean,
in the She-Hulk show.
A big thing too is, like, people don't get, like, comics, it used to be the other way around. Comics would influence the movies, but like it got to the point where the movies became so prominent. It's just marketing because people don't read comics more; they watch movies more. Which it flipped of like Star-Lord retroactively became Chris Pratt essentially in the comics. Like stuff like that started happening.
Nick Fury became Sam Jackson.
Right? Yeah. So like what happens is like I go back to the Al Ewing Immortal Hulk run. Like Hulk was just. And I'm talking stupidly powerful, like just like ridiculously powerful, like. And it's like I think that's what they're gonna do because they presented like the rumor is that like it's gonna be a 4-episode like, but it's gonna be like a big like it's gonna be like a movie-esque type
like
of
an
thing.
event.
Yeah, it's like an event, which I get. It's the fact that like these new phases finally feel like tried and true comics that keep hitting you.
Yeah, like a comic arc.
Right. Yeah, like it's like a contained of like it's a vent though, but it's big. So yeah,
keep an eye on the Hulk.
Yeah, Jonathan Majors, that guy's awesome.
Yeah,
I think this thing's gonna end real cool.
Yeah, me too.
The Earth's gonna be like rebuilt. I don't know what those battle world sequences are gonna look like what the Earth's gonna look like the world's gonna look like after like because essentially I do like it's gonna who's going to be the one to trigger the first incursion? Or is it going to be Kang that's the one that wants to... Because like, he might take Doctor Doom's spot. Because I don't think they're ready to do that. I don't think they just do Doctor Doom in like half a year and be like, all right, we're done. Like, yeah. Like I think they're going to save him for like this X-Men piece of it.
Maybe. Yeah. Man.
Wow.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Comic-Con it was great.
If you thought Marvel was out, so the Phase 4 thing, you thought Marvel was done. They were mid. They were washed up. No.
Nah, man.
They had a plan.
Yeah.
They kind of lulled you to sleep. Not lulled you to sleep, they kind of lulled you. They gave you these singular projects that didn't need to cross over with anything, that people can like these characters. Cool. Characters were popping up everywhere. We're back. Like we're back. Yeah, because
we have a vision. We're building towards the vision.
Yeah.
Not Paul Bettany.
Nah, White Vision. Where's he at?
Who knows?
Who knows?
He'll pop up. Maybe he'll pop up in She-Hulk.
Yeah. I hope so.
All right, let's transition out.
Yeah.
What have you been doing? You been up to anything?
Well, this Comic-Con thing's got me reading comics again.
Cool.
I hadn't read comics in a bit, so I was reading a bunch of Daredevil. I was just running through some Daredevil stuff I had, but I mean, now what I'm probably gonna do is I'm probably gonna run through the Fantastic Four. I'm gonna run through Hickman's run with Marvel. That's probably what I'm gonna do, and his X-Men run is the most recent one that started in 2019. What's really interesting about that one is like the way I talked about it, the way they did the He Who Remains reveal in Loki. Like, it's not the fact that it's like jaw drop moments for big moments. It's the way that it's like it keeps the narrative going for just these absolutely like big moments. So like, I think it's gonna be like, I don't know. But yeah, I've been reading some comics. I'm going to do the Fantastic Four. Ends with one of the greatest things of Franklin Richards turning Galactus into his herald. Because Galactus got sunned. It's great. And then it just goes into the Avengers and New Avengers. Doctor Strange is the worst. But Namor's also the worst.
True.
Iron Man's not great.
No.
Not a great person.
No.
We always say it. Comic Iron Man's not movie Iron Man.
No, he's awful. Comic Iron Man sucks.
Yeah. He's real bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy's a jerk. Doctor Doom's the coolest being in the universe. This guy made a cult in the past to make sure that they got to the future so nobody would lay blame on him.
And his mom's in hell.
Yeah. That sucks. Sorry, Dr. Doom.
And he vaporized Thanos.
He did vaporize. Oh my god, he just grabbed his spine. That was freaking sick.
He said, "Do you have Infinity Stones now?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Well."
Yep. Yeah. If you want to talk like about powerful characters that we could see, like God Emperor Doom is like he's on the short list. That guy is just stupidly powerful. Like to the point of like omnipotence powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's comics are so dumb. They're so stupid and I love them. They're so ridiculous. Yeah. Shout out comic books.
Shout out comics.
We wouldn't get any of this without that.
Absolutely not. And dang it, if at the end of this, the story about the creators of Yelena Belova and how much they've been given the runaround on their payment. Dude.
Oh, yeah. What's wrong with you?
Pay the creators.
You have the money.
Yeah.
Pay your visual effects artists and maybe not have them work 70 hours a week.
And pay the creators.
Pay the creators.
By without which you wouldn't have your big cinematic universe.
Yeah, we're looking at you, Hawkeye show, from just taking David Aja's art and just maybe not paying him for it.
Corporations are bad, man.
Yeah. Kevin, come on, man.
Big Kev.
We're going to get corporate leader Kang?
That's just Jeff Bezos.
Oh my god, what if they get to like the end of time or whatever, and it's just like the version of Kang you weren't waiting for, and it's Kevin Feige? He's been the villain the whole time. It's him.
Always was.
He's gonna direct. He's gonna be the one to direct.
No, stop putting that into the universe.
Soups is gonna direct it.
No, even worse. Oh man, I've been playing Stray.
What a transition! Because I would have talked about the ridiculous nature and how cool like these comic story arcs, but Stray's a game.
Oh man, it's so great.
So you just run around as a cat?
Yeah.
In a post-apocalyptic world?
Yeah.
So you're basically Ryan Gosling in Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same mannerisms too.
It's a fun little puzzle platformer where you're a cat.
That's it.
That's all you need.
And hey man, that's the universe sometimes.
It's surprisingly deep. I won't spoil the ending, but it's really a love letter.
You get reunited with your cat family?
I'm not spoiling it. It's a love letter to humanity also in this game. I mean, indie games like this get you all the time with like their cute little hook, and then the message at the end is like, "We'll like shatter your soul," and that's what this game does. It's very low stress. If you're looking for a game that's very low intensity, it's very difficult. You can't it's a platformer that you can't fall from. like you're not on rails. Like it's fairly open-ish world. Like the hubs are pretty open, and there's some action sequences, but it's very low stress. It's not difficult. So if you're looking for a good 5 to 10 hour adventure to de-stress from, pick up Stray. Especially if you're a PS Plus member, it's free this month. You can pick that up, and then I've been sinking some time into Multiverses.
LeBron is nice. Nice in that game.
It's the potential Smash killer. It's the closest Smash thing that I've played that I really, really enjoy.
Yeah, and
Nickelodeon came out with theirs, and I wasn't crazy about it.
This is like the Warner Brothers properties.
Yeah, and the creator of the game has said he wants to expand even beyond the WB properties.
If they get the Disney IP for this game,
and we get Marvel
versus DC.
Yeah.
Is that going to be in Secret Wars? That's when Henry Cavill comes back?
But Multiverses is great, at least from what I played. It's in beta stage, but the game will, even upon launch, will be free to play if you prefer that model. It'll have like the Fortnite-esque battle passes. You can purchase characters if you want to, but you can also earn them through grinding the game. The characters that are in it, the base roster is already pretty stacked, fully voiced characters from the voice actors that you...
Hey, we got a voice actor for LeBron.
Yeah, it's John Eric Bentley who voices Barrett in the Final Fantasy VII remake. Is the voice of LeBron. But you
didn't think we were going to talk about LeBron this episode.
Kevin Conroy voices Batman. Tara Strong voices Harley Quinn. George Newbern voices Superman. Maisie Williams voices Arya Stark. Jake and Finn from Adventure Time are in this game. Who else is it? Steven Universe is in this game. Bugs Bunny, the Tasmanian Devil. Shaggy, the Iron Giant.
Shaggy was like a flagship character for this thing.
Because they gave him the Shaggy Super Saiyan meme power in this game. The Iron Giant is in this game. I guess he's not more than a gun after all.
Yeah.
It's great. I'm having a fun time. I'm looking forward to sticking some more time into that. But we are at 2.5 hours.
Yeah. This episode deserved.
Do the thing. We gotta go.
We gotta go, man.
You gotta go, bro.
I was telling Rob that I was rewatching all the... I'm in a full MCU rewatch, and I mean with the shows that supposedly are in canon, whatever. And I always say this to you. Isn't it great? We started with Iron Man. This guy just was in a metal suit, and we're about to...
Please, no gang signs. I'm just kidding. Throw him up.
What did I tell you? I'm kind of Iron Man had a like one of the greatest arcs a character can have in movie history, but like little piece of me wishes he can see all these new characters pop up in the quips. Like imagine him and Kamala Khan in a room.
Yeah.
But like it's just absurd.
Like I said before we jumped into the Marvel section of this, what they've managed to do with this Marvel Cinematic Universe, we're never going to see it again from anybody. And we've seen studios try and fail at what Marvel's trying to do. Even Star Wars has not done what Marvel has been able to do. We're talking now almost 15 years of this. One continuous, and you can talk about continuity flaws, you can talk about some things not adding up. The fact that they're this close is remarkable.
Yeah, and it's the legacy, but it's like
the fact that these got these actors to
they've got some
to sign on,
some A-list of A-list actors,
and the fact that they got them, especially the original kind of crew, the fact that they got them to commit,
to buy into this, because this was such like a taboo thing for actors to do, like being a superhero property, and now it's like, oh, I got to get in a superhero property to keep my career going,
and like to get them to commit, to get someone like Chris Evans and lock him down, for 10 years
after he already kind of did this,
right?
Yeah, you got Robert Downey Jr. out of the depths of his life. Right.
Yeah. I mean, you got a guy like Mark Ruffalo, who was in David Fincher movies.
Right. These guys are like titans of industry. Like Scarlett Johansson was like one of the biggest female actors in the world. And
at the same time, you paved the way for actors like Chris Hemsworth. You paved the way for actors like Tom Holland. And then, on the flip side of that, then they started mixing and matching. You get Paul Rudd to sign on to do this stuff. You got Angelina Jolie in the Eternals.
Like, just think, we have characters, like, if I'm just spitballing, we have Angela Bassett in the MCU. We have Alfie Woodard. Like, we have Anthony Hopkins. Like, you understand some of these actors that are
Matt Damon is just doing cameos.
Christian Bale's in this. Like, some of these characters that were, like, some of these actors, Natalie Portman, like, these are the top of top actors in the world. Gwyneth Paltrow, like, it's like Edward Norton was in this before.
Yeah,
like,
you and then again, going back to the other side of it, Zendaya, who has become a megastar among megastars. Florence Pugh, same thing. Haley Steinfeld, same thing. And now you're seeing Aman Vellani become an absolute megastar right before our eyes.
Yeah, Xochitl Gomez, the same thing. Like, they're getting so popular.
You're getting Benedict Cumberbatch. Right. You're getting Charlize Theron is now going to be in this universe in some capacity. We're never going to see anything like it again. Eventually we're going to do something where, like, we have like an MCU like thing where like we look back and really take a second to marvel, no pun intended, at what they pulled off, because it's remarkable.
How long did it take us to get here? 52 weeks?
Yeah.
So the 100th episode, if I'm to stamp
We'll see what happens, because we had a big plan for the 50th episode and they were like, shoot, Thor's out this week.
Thor is out this week. 100th episode is going to be the Daredevil review.
I mean, another year. That's mid 2023.
Do you know how, like, poetic it would be if that was the thing?
It's not outside the realm of possibility.
Could it be Oppenheimer?
Oh shoot! It is going to be Oppenheimer. A year from now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god! If Oppenheimer's the 100th episode and Barbie on top of it.
Oh man!
Well,
all right.
I'm just gonna get Cillian Murphy and Margot Robbie to be on the episode if that's the case at the same time.
They can fight.
No, maybe not. Cillian Murphy seems like a stand-up guy.
He does.
Yeah.
And Margot Robbie is Australian.
Yeah, that's just two nice people. Be like a wonderful episode.
All right.
But here's to another year.
Yeah. The fact that we've been doing this for a year is insane.
Wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at us.
Who'd have thought?
Who'd have thought? Not me.
Not me. Not me either.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
From me, from the other version of me, from the infinite versions of us.
From the me that was in the boys episode last week, who didn't know how to act.
That wasn't you. That was the other version of you. You're like, how many Robs have I killed before?
Yeah. It's been awesome.
This whole Marvel thing, like this idea of the infinite, like infinity is what I predicated this name on, and here's to another year. Here's to infinite more years of this. Yeah. We're taking over.
Infinite and ever expanding podcast platform. That's what we're going to be.
Yeah, we're taking over. You guys just wait. You guys think that heavy spoilers is the kings of YouTube and new rock stars? Just wait till we get there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight Eric Voss for money at I don't know.
I'm gonna fight Soups.
Yeah, you gotta fight Soups and I'm gonna fight Eric Voss. We can't fight Straw Hat Goofy though. We love that guy.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Can we add him to the board?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna clip this and send it to him on TikTok.
Maybe we'll get famous. We just need the thing to get us. Maybe it's me because I had a solid run. I had like 4 straight threes in this. I was going crazy for a second.
I'm gonna have to sift through this episode and find a clip to post.
Yeah, I think it is when I was talking about the X-Men.
I like that.
Yeah, that was well. The Actually, do the Fantastic Four piece. I thought that was pretty good.
Right.
The idea of where the Fantastic Four are going to be.
Yeah,
they're a thing. They're already there. Michael
right.
Chiklis as the Thing.
Yes.
Give the Thing his own solo project and make it Michael Chiklis.
Oh man. All right. Plug time. Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at @ProjectINF_pod. You can follow us on Facebook. We post new episodes whenever we can. Mm-hmm. We'll get more consistent, I think.
We post clips.
Yeah. I'm trying to do that more often, but it requires a lot of work.
It does.
Because I gotta sift through the episode. I gotta listen to the episode.
You don't get paid.
No.
Yeah.
Nah, man. I don't have an editor.
Yeah. Much akin to the. You know what? I can't make an enemy of Marvel.
There's so many podcasts that like I know that people like I know run. Like, yeah, I got this person edits for me. I'm like, I do the editing myself.
I cover the social media. This is a tough battle that we
need an intern.
Yeah, we do need an intern. Who wants? Actually, shameless plug for the signs I'm going to put up around our town. Who wants to intern for us? We're going to be famous within the next 5 months. Ballparking 5 to 6 months.
You can follow us on Instagram
at the Project Infinite Pod.
Thank you. You can. That's it. That's all we got.
This is all I got.
That's all I got. Give me all you got. We gotta go,
Give me
bro.
all you got. Heat. Put heat on the board. You ever seen Heat? This podcast is good.
Next week, I don't think we have a thing next week. We could do Nope. You want to do Nope next week?
Either we do Nope, or I had another idea that I thought you would like.
Go on.
Well, I can't tell. I can't spoil it.
Okay, fine.
We're not heavy spoilers. This is maybe the way I get famous. I start beefing with all the big guys, and then I get famous.
So maybe we'll do Nope, or maybe we'll do another thing
that I have in my head. I'm gonna do a gesture, and then you're gonna know, but the people can't see it, so they're not gonna know what that means. Yeah.
Okay, we could do that.
That would be fun, because I've been wanting to do it for so long, and it's been a year since we did this. Yeah. And this is one of the things that made us be friends.
Yeah.
So that would be kind of cool.
We could do that. All right. Maybe. We'll see. From me, from the... Oh, shoot.
Just give me Kang.
I was gonna, but...
Just do it.
I feel like I keep giving you evil characters.
Just do it. Do it.
All right. The Kang of the podcast.
Yes. It's not for the Kang. It's for the Jonathan Majors. I love that guy.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week from this supersized episode of the Project Infinite podcast. We've gone dang near 3 hours.
Much like Avengers Endgame and the Batman, we've gone 3 hours.
And then to channel my inner James Cameron, just get over it.
Just get over it. We're here to stay.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Peace. Goodbye. You stepped on me there.
Oh, my bad.
Do it again.
Do it again.
Goodbye.
Peace.
Perfect.